You awaken slowly, as if drifting up through layers of velvet. The air is warm, dry, and softly scented with olive oil and yesterday's dust. Beneath your hands, cool stone, smooth, old, and worn down by centuries of bare feet and early mornings. You open your eyes, blinking against the pale gold light slipping through a slatted wooden shutter. You are inside a Roman home Pompeii, though that name arrives later, like a memory whispered from somewhere just outside the room. The ceiling is low and frescoed, chipped in places, but still beautiful. Pale blues, burnt reds, and curling vines wind toward faded gods on the walls. There's a lizard in the corner, blinking just as slowly as you are. You sit up. Your tunic, off-white and slightly too short, clings to your skin where sleep still lingers. You notice your legs are dusty. Were you always here? You are not sure, but you are not afraid. Just curious, calm, as if this strange place has been waiting for you. From somewhere beyond the wooden door, you hear a market waking goat bleats, a cartwheel grinding over stone, and someone haggling too loudly for this early in the morning. It's oddly comforting, like the sounds know what they're doing, even if you do not. A terracotta jug sits beside your bedding, half full of water, slightly warm. You sip it slowly. It tastes like clay and summer. The small fountain in the center of the atrium gurgles, echoing around the walls like lazy bird song. You hear the distant flutter of a curtain in another room. Someone moved. You are not alone, and yet you feel completely undisturbed. For a moment, time feels thick, like honey. You look down at the mosaic under your feet, tiny stones arranged to make an image you cannot quite name. Perhaps a dolphin, perhaps something lost in translation. Either way, it makes you smile. You press your palm to the stone floor. It is still cool, despite the sun. Despite everything, there is something soothing in its stillness. Like the world is not in a rush, like it wants you to take your time. You breathe slower now. The curtain stirs again, and the day begins. You shuffle softly across the sunlit floor, the soles of your feet whispering over cool stone. The atrium welcomes you with its soft echo. A square of light falling through the open roof and dancing gently on the surface of the fountain. The water plinks rhythmically, slow droplets tapping the marble edge like the world's quietest drum. Even the air feels half asleep. A young servant girl, no older than 15 perhaps, glides into view from the side chamber. She carries a simple tray, wooden, slightly chipped tin, which rests a cup of diluted wine and a piece of coarse bread drizzled lazily with honey. She sets it down beside the fountain with a shy nod, avoiding your eyes like she's used to being forgotten. And just like that, she vanishes again, light-footed, quiet as steam. You take the cup in both hands. It's warm from the morning sun. The wine is thin, gently sour, barely a ghost of the grape it once was. Romans do not drink it straight. They water it down, which seems sensible in this heat. The bread, dense and slightly hard at the corners, melts beneath the honey's sleepy sweetness. You chew slowly, each bite grounding you further in this moment. Somewhere nearby, a rooster gives a half-hearted crow. You imagine even the animals here have their own slow rhythm like they, too. No, this is a city best approached without hurry. A breeze wanders in through the colonnade, carrying with it the scent of baked clay, wilted laurel, and faintly figs. Or maybe that is just your imagination. The senses blur in a place like this. You lean against a column, the surface, warm now, sun-kissed and textured from years of polishing by elbows and backs and passing time. On the wall opposite, you notice a painted Saint Dionysus, lounging with wine in one hand, a leopard curled at his feet. His smile is lazy. You feel a kinship with that expression. There is no rush to understand this place. It doesn't ask questions of you. It simply offers a moment, a breakfast, a breeze, and you accept it. The tray beside you is now empty. The fountain sighs. The day is stretching, and so do you. The morning hums, slow and golden. You hear footsteps behind the wooden gate. The wooden side gate creaks open with the reluctant groan of age. Its surface is sun-faded and scored with line scratches, left by time, by weather, maybe even by a careless sword once upon a time. You press your palm against it, feeling the ridges and grain, and then you step into the street. The sunlight is stronger here, cascading between tall stone buildings and warming the dust-covered road beneath your feet. You blink a little, your eyes adjusting not just to brightness, but to the motion of the waking city. Pompeii does not roar to life. It drifts into mourning like a melody forgotten and half-remembered again. The street is paved with large black stones, their surfaces glistening, in places with moisture from the night before. Deep wheel ruts crisscross through them, worn by carts that have passed this way for generations. Each groove tells a story, and you walk right along them, as though tracing history with your toes. A painted wall near the corner catches your eye. It's a bit of political graffiti, someone urging a vote for a man whose name you cannot pronounce. He's honest, it claims. The paint is cracked and uneven, as if even the wall was unsure. Beside it, a crude drawing of a donkey seems to comment on the promise. Politics. Timeless, apparently. From a second-floor balcony, a woman leans over to shake out a blanket. She waves lazily as she spots you, her smile toothless and charming. Too warm for breakfast yet, she calls, though you barely understand the Latin. It doesn't matter. The rhythm of her voice is enough. You walk past the doorway of a shop, its wooden shutters propped open with a single amphora. Inside, rows of terracotta jugs gleam in neat order, labeled with names you don't know, wines, oils, maybe vinegar. The scent is sharp and earthy. Someone is already arguing about a price, but not angrily, just conversationally. Like arguing is part of the joy. Overhead, 2 sparrows flutter between rooftops, calling out nonsense to each other. A cat watches them from a wall, bored and regal. It flicks its tail once, then returns to napping. You move forward, slowly. There is no destination, yet just movement. Just morning, and ahead. The noise of the Forum begins to stir. The air thickens slightly as you approach the Forum, Pompeii's buzzing heart, though it hums more than buzzes at this hour. The street widens. The cobblestones seem to stretch and relax with you, and then the market greets you like an old friend. Voices rise and fall, like birdsong sellers, calling out prices with practiced flair. Neighbors catching up over stalls of wilting herbs, and somewhere in the middle, the sharp bleat of a goat who clearly has no interest in commerce. It's busy, but not rushed. This is a city that knows how to start its day with just the right amount of fuss. You drift through it all, not needing to stop, but slowing anyway. The smells alone beg you to stay. Baked bread still warm in woven baskets. Baskets of salted fish releasing their ocean-scented warnings, and, strongest of all, a heap of overripe figs basking lazily in the sun. One of them has split open, its insides glistening like rubies. A wasp explores it sleepily. A man leans over his stall, holding up a delicate amphora, imported from Hispania. He says with pride, though his toga is stained, and one sandal is clearly too large. He winks at you anyway, as if you are both in on some grand joke about the world. You pass a vendor slicing cheese with a blade that could double as a sword. He doesn't even look up, his hands moving with the rhythm of someone who's done this every morning of his life. Beside him, a cage full of eels writhes gently in a pan of water. You try not to look too closely. They seem aware. A child tugs at your tunic. She offers a wilted flower, possibly stolen. You give her a coin anyway, and she vanishes into the crowd like smoke. The warmth in your chest lingers. Somewhere above, the sun shifts, casting long shadows from marble columns. You squint into the light, just in time to see a pigeon land boldly atop a senator's statue. It poops. A nearby merchant mutters, "Even statues are not safe from opinions." You smile, your shoulders ease. You let the smells and sounds wash over you. There is no rush to buy. You are already full, and the road calls you toward something quieter. You step away from the market's murmurs, down a narrower street lined with faded shop fronts and crumbling frescoes. The sun is climbing now, higher and brighter its heat, slipping down the back of your neck like a lazy hand. Even the shadows seem to retreat, offering you only thin strips of relief between the walls. A cloth merchant waves you over, his stall draped in swaying linens and folded cloaks. You'll roast like a fish without cover, he warns, squinting through the sun with one eye and a smirk. You pause, half because of the heat, half because his cloak actually looks soft. He lifts, one linen, loose woven, a faded ochre color that once might have been proud. It's Roman air conditioning, he jokes, draping it around your shoulders with the theatrical flair of a man who has said that line 100 times before. The cloth smells faintly of lavender and smoke, and yes, it is cooler. Just enough. You hand him a coin. He bites it, not metaphorically, but actually. Real enough. He shrugs and tucks it into his tunic. You walk away with your new cloak fluttering behind you like lazy wings. A gust of dry wind kicks up some dust, and your eyes catch something odd near the skyline. Above the rooftops, far in the distance, a faint column of smoke coils from the summit of Vesuvius, thin, harmless, like someone forgot to put out a campfire. You stare at it for a long moment. A passing woman glances up as well. It always smokes like that, she says, not stopping. It's just the mountain talking to itself. You nod, unsure if she's right or just hopeful. The breeze shifts, and a new smell rides in baked stone, pine resin, a hint of something metallic. You turn back toward the main road. The city stretches out before you like a maze drawn in golden light and quiet chaos. The mountain still smokes behind you, but no one seems to notice, or perhaps no one wants to. Your cloak settles on your shoulders. The dust swirls and falls. You walk slower now, as if the day is growing heavier, and ahead, the bathhouse doors stand open, steam curling softly into the morning air. The bathhouse welcomes you like a gentle exhale. You step through the heavy door and into cool shade, where light filters down through narrow slits in the wall like sleepy sunbeams. The air is thick with warmth and moisture, carrying the soft scent of olive oil, lavender, and old stone. Your sandals echo faintly on the tiled floor. The sound is swallowed almost immediately by the hush that lives here. Not silence. Exactly, there is the distant drip of water, the muted splash of someone easing into a pool, the quiet rustle of cloth against skin, but all of it exists beneath. A kind of sacred stillness, as if the very walls are trying not to disturb anyone's thoughts. You leave your cloak with a sleepy attendant, who barely raises his eyes from the slow task of folding towels. He points toward the tepidarium, the warm room. Man, you nod, though no words are exchanged. There is no need for noise here. Inside, the warmth wraps around you like a favorite blanket. A fine mist lingers in the air, hugging your skin, calming your breath. Marble benches line the walls. You lower yourself onto one, letting the heat seep into your bones, your thoughts, your everything. A pair of old men argue softly near the far wall about olives or land, or something that probably mattered more yesterday. One gestures with a sponge. The other laughs like he just remembered a joke from 2 decades ago. Their voices blend with the trickling water from a nearby basin, like an orchestra playing only for ghosts. You lean your head back against the marble. It is smooth, cool, despite the steam. On the ceiling above, a painted fresco watches over Neptune rising from the sea, his trident gleaming in a sky of deep blues and copper reds. Time has faded some of the color, but not the power. He looks oddly relaxed for a god of storms. Someone offers you a dipper of water, warm and tinged with mint. You sip slowly. It tastes like calm. You could stay here forever. You almost do. The heat softens your limbs, your eyes grow heavier, even your thoughts begin to slow. And somewhere, a whisper rises, something about the mountain, but it fades. Just like steam, the steam thickens as you drift from the tepidarium to the caldarium, the hot room. The air is denser here, like breathing through velvet. You pause in the threshold, your skin tingling, before stepping inside. The heat wraps around you, heavy and kind. It presses against your shoulders like a warm hand. The chamber is smaller, more intimate. Its walls curve upward into a domed ceiling, painted with ancient stories. You squint through the mist. There, a fresco of Hercules' muscles rippling, cloak, flying, wrestling a lion mid-snarl. His face is oddly serene, as if even battle couldn't interrupt his nap. Nearby, dolphins leap around the ankles of a sea goddess. You can't tell if she's dancing or drowning. It's beautifully unclear. You reach out and touch the tiles beneath you, polished, smooth, still slick from the last visitor's footfall. A few are chipped, just barely, as if the building is slowly remembering that it, too, is mortal. A servant stokes the fire beneath a raised bronze basin, steam curling around him like a pet snake. He hums tunelessly as he works. You wonder if he hums the same thing every day. You wonder how long he has been here. You wonder if he ever stops. Beside you, someone chuckles softly. A man wrapped in linen gestures toward the wall and says, "That one's Venus." Or someone pretending to be her. You both laugh under your breath, the kind of laugh that evaporates before it echoes. You lie back against the warm bench, body melting into its curves. A shallow pool nearby bubbles softly, each sound like a sigh. You consider slipping into it, but instead, you stay just where you are, listening, breathing, slowing in the mist. Faces blur, bodies shift and vanish like memories drifting off. Nothing feels solid, yet nothing feels lost. For a moment, the entire room feels suspended between worlds, between centuries. A place where time and myth sit side by side, passing the ladle back and forth. The heat makes your eyelids heavy. Your breath is deep and slow. Your fingers trail over tile worn by countless hands. And beyond these warm walls, the mountain murmurs again. But here, everything is still. You step back into the daylight, wrapped in warmth and calm. The sun greets you with a gentler touch now, filtered by a growing haze that settles over the rooftops like a sheer curtain. The forum lies ahead, open, spacious, and filled with the kind of soft bustle that makes a city feel alive without ever shouting. Stone columns rise like sentinels, silent and unmoving. Between them, people wander, some chatting, some pausing mid-step to listen to a storyteller perched on a broken plinth. His hands dance in the air, shaping something from nothing. You can only hear bits of his tale, but it seems to involve a stolen fig and a very judgmental goose. The statues stand tall in the square, some noble, some chipped, others leaning ever so slightly as if eavesdropping. You walk slowly past one, a marble senator with a robe draped meticulously over one shoulder. His eyes, carved to stare forever into history, seem almost aware. You tilt your head. He does not blink, of course, but you still step aside with polite caution. Pigeons roost on the heads of emperors. Ivy creeps up a goddess's ankle. Nature and power sharing the same pedestal. You find a certain quiet comedy in that. A pair of boys rolled dice on a smooth patch of stone, bedding crusts of bread and a broken ring. One of them catches your eye and grins, as if inviting you to play. You shake your head, smile in return, and move on. The past has enough gamblers without your contribution. You pause by a fountain, its edge, worn smooth from elbows and lazy afternoons. You run your fingers through the water. It is cool, despite the growing warmth in the air. A few coins glint. At the bottom, wishes, probably, or debts. You lean on the edge for a moment, watching the ripples. They spread slowly, then settle, then disappear. Behind you, the statues remain, still, proud, patient, Their marble eyes follow no one, and somehow, everyone. And the wind brings something faint now, a shift, not yet troubling, just different. You pull your cloak closer, and the temple calls. You follow a quiet slope toward the edge of the forum, where the temple of Apollo rests in a hush all its own. The steps are broad and worn smooth in the middle, like a sigh carved into stone. You ascend slowly, your feet making the barest sound. Even the pigeons seem to bow to the silence here. Columns rise into the pale sky, slender, weathered by years and prayers. Bits of ivy twist at their bases, curling like ancient handwriting. You run your hand across the cool stone, rough in some places, surprisingly soft in others. It feels thoughtful, like it remembers every hand before yours. Inside the open sanctuary, the sun filters in crooked beams between broken walls. There's no roof, not anymore, just sky. The statue of Apollo stands in the center, his face partly eroded, his arm missing, but he is still beautiful, regal, distant, like a god who once heard everything, and now listens less. A flute plays nearby, its sound soft and breathy. You cannot see the musician. Perhaps they are real. Perhaps they are memory. The melody drifts between the columns and circles your shoulders like incense. A dog sleeps in the temple's shade, stretched long and still beneath the statue's gaze. Its ears twitch once, then stillness returns. You sit beside it for a moment, cross-legged on warm stone. The dog does not mind. You do not speak. The temple does not ask you to. Somewhere outside, a voice calls a name. You do not recognize it. It fades quickly. You look up. Over the temple's edge, far beyond the rooftops, Mount Vesuvius rises tall, dark, quiet. A faint curl of smoke lifts from its top, no more than a whisper in the sky. You stare for a while, not afraid, just curious. You wonder if the priests ever read its moods, if they watched the sky more than they watched the gods. There is no answer, only stillness. The flute stops. The wind shifts. You rise, brushing ash from your knees though you do not remember kneeling. And as you leave the temple's hush, the dog lifts its head briefly, then returns to sleep. So do the gods. You step down from the temple and into the sun once more. The air is warmer now, thicker somehow, though not uncomfortable. The shadows stretch just a little longer than before, hugging the base of columns and curling beneath carts that sit idly in the street. Ahead, the sound of laughter. Small, bright, alive. You follow it until you find a group of children in a dusty courtyard, crouched and running, shrieking with joy over something utterly simple, painted pebbles. They toss them gently, chasing after the prettiest ones, trading colors like treasure. One boy proudly shows off a pebble painted blue with tiny white dots, his version of the stars. He says his friend has one striped like a lion's mane. You watch from a short distance, unseen for now, caught in the gentle chaos of their joy. The little girl spins in place until she falls giggling to the ground, arms flung wide as if to embrace the sky. Dust clings to her tunic, and she does not care. Her hair is braided in a crooked pattern, as if done in a hurry or with love. Maybe both. A mother calls out from a nearby doorway, balancing a large clay jar on her shoulder. Her voice is warm but firm. The children groan in unison, dragging their feet toward her, one still clutching a handful of pebbles like contraband. You step aside to let them pass. One child glances up at you, his face suddenly serious. "Do you think the stars ever fall down?" he asks. Before you can answer, he's pulled away, vanishing behind the doorway. You walk on, past the place where their game was played. A few stray pebbles remain scattered in the dust. Tiny universes forgotten in the wake of lunch. You kneel and pick one up, a swirl of red and black. It's warm from the sun. You keep it in your palm a little longer than necessary, then place it back down gently, right where it was. Let someone else find it. Let someone else wonder. Behind you, the courtyard still echoes with laughter. Above you, the sky stretches quiet and untroubled, and somewhere far off, the mountain gives a small, almost imperceptible sigh. You continue your walk, down quieter streets, now where the chatter fades and footsteps fall softer. The sun, once high and bold, begins to lower, casting longer shadows that stretch across the stone like fingers reaching home. The buildings seem taller here, their outlines sharper against the light. Ivy clings to walls in lazy spirals, swaying gently in the breeze. Potted herbs rest in windowsills, basil, thyme, perhaps rue. Their scents float through the air like sleepy thoughts. You pass a man sitting on his doorstep, tuning a stringed instrument with no hurry at all. He strums one sad, awkward, gentle chord that doesn't quite resolve, and shrugs, content anyway. He hums something low, a tune you almost recognize, but cannot place. Perhaps it has not been written yet. The wind stirs again. This time it carries a new scent, subtle, but strange. Sulfur, not strong, not sharp, just peculiar. You pause for a moment. So do the birds. One flutter of wings, then quiet. A merchant nearby glances up from his scales and sniffs the air. He frowns faintly, shrugs, and returns to his weighing. A neighbor waves from a rooftop, her face pinched slightly with concern, but she says nothing. No one does. It's the kind of silence people choose. The kind that hopes ignoring is the same as undoing. You keep walking. Your footfalls soften with the ash beginning to settle lightly. Too light to see, almost imaginary. Or maybe it's just dust. Pompeii always has dust. Ahead, a boy balances barefoot along the edge of a stone gutter, arms out like wings. His mother scolds him gently, but he keeps walking. A tiny conqueror, unshaken. You envy him for that. The light grows amber now, warmer than before. Everything looks dipped in honey. Even the shadows seem gentler. You find yourself slowing again, less out of fatigue, more from reverence. The city feels older in this light, more sacred, or maybe just more tired, and somewhere in your chest, something settles. To dot the breeze hushes. The birds return to their rooftops. The scent of sulfur fades, or hides, and behind everything, Vesuvius watches, still quiet, still waiting. You are standing near a wall draped in vines, when it happens a tremor, brief and shallow, ripples beneath. Your feet, not violent, just enough to make a nearby amphora wobble on its base. It clinks once, then steadies. The sound hushes the street. A fruit cart creaks softly as the vendor steadies it with one hand, looking around as if to see whether anyone else felt it. They did. Heads turn. Conversations pause. Even the birds go silent again, but only for a breath. Then, as if some invisible conductor waved his hand, life resumes. A woman clicks her tongue and mutters, "It's the gods," shifting in their chairs. A few people laugh, quick, dry, practiced laughs, shrugging off unease, like dust from a cloak. You do the same, almost. Your hand lingers against the wall a second longer than it needs to. The stone is warm, solid. It hasn't cracked. Nothing has fallen. Not really. A small group of children giggles and jumps, pretending the ground is moving still. One dramatically stumbles and falls into exaggerated doom. The others collapse. In laughter around him, you smile. The kind of smile that asks your heart to calm down, even though it already has. But still, your steps feel just a bit more careful now. More measured. You notice small details again, the crack between two paving stones, the leaning angle of a door frame, the hairline fractures on a nearby column that you swear were not there this morning. Above, the sky is still light, still whole, and yet the mountain sits beneath it like a held breath, no louder, no nearer, but somehow heavier. Another passerby mentions the quake casually. Happens all the time. she says, brushing flour from her sleeves. One time last spring, the walls shook so hard, my neighbor's geese started speaking Greek. You laugh softly at the joke, even though you do not quite understand it. The rhythm of daily life pulls you back in, wraps you in its comfortable routine like a warm shawl, so you keep walking. Not because nothing happened, but because everyone agrees it didn't matter. The fruit cart rolls again. The geese return to gossip, and your shadow follows you, just a little longer now. The sun dips, lower now, casting warm streaks of gold across the walls of the narrow street. You return to the domus, where your morning began. The air inside feels familiar, again cooler, shaded, with the gentle scent of simmering herbs drifting from the kitchen hearth. Someone is cooking. You follow the smell. In the small culina, a clay pot bubbles over the flame, sending the sharp, unmistakable aroma of garam into the air. It's intense. Fermented fish sauce may not be your idea of perfume, but it stirs something in you. Hunger, perhaps, or nostalgia you never earned. The cook bare-armed, sun-kissed, humming adds chopped onions and something that might be lentils. She nods at you once, as if this is all perfectly ordinary. And maybe it is. You sit near the doorway, the stones still warm from the day, watching the light curl in along the floor tiles. A shadow moves across the wall, someone passing by outside. You don't look to see who. The house creaks faintly, as houses do when they've known generations of footsteps and quiet conversations. Your eyes drift upward, through the open courtyard, and past the rooftop, and there it is again, Vesuvius, still distant, still quiet. But the smoke curling from its summit is thicker, now darker, fuller, like the breath of something slowly waking. It rises slowly, lazily, twisting into the evening sky. You squint. Has it changed? Or is it simply easier to notice against the orange sky? The cook glances up at the same time. She frowns. Not deeply, just a crease between her brow. Then she stirs the pot again, a bit faster. It always does that in summer, she mumbles, mostly to herself. Too much heat in the ground. No one argues. You lean back against the wall, letting the sounds of the simmering stew, the distant clatter of amphorae, and the soft thud of a door closing somewhere above lull you into stillness. You close your eyes for a moment. Just a moment. The mountain waits. The stew bubbles, and a fig drops from the tree outside, with a soft thump. Evening has arrived, not with a jolt, but with a yawn. It stretches lazily across rooftops, casting amber light through every window and onto every wall. Inside the atrium, oil lamps are being lit one by one. The flames tremble gently, glowing golden behind thin plates of translucent stone. You hold one of the lamps in your hands, watching the little flame flicker like it is unsure whether to rise or sleep. It smells faintly of olive and smoke, like warmth made visible. You place it near the door, where its light spills out into the street and merges with a dozen others, each doorway glowing like a quiet heartbeat. Outside, your neighbors have gathered. The stone benches that line the street fill with bodies draped in linen and voices softened by fatigue. A woman fans herself lazily, the cloth flapping like a bird too tired to fly. Her husband tells a joke that you missed the beginning of, but the laughter carries you along anyway. Someone passes a plate of dates, wrinkled and sweet. You take one. It sticks gently to your fingers. Someone else brings out cheese, sharp and crumbling, wrapped in fig leaves. You bite in slowly, savoring the salt and temps like you have all the time in the world. They talk of ordinary things. A wedding, a merchant's new cart, the senator's latest scandal, which seems to involve a missing amphora and someone else's wife. It's all shared with the warmth of people who have lived too long near each other not to find comfort in gossip. No one speaks of the smoke, not anymore, not tonight. Laughter bounces off the stone walls and into the dusky sky. You glance up. Stars now, the haze muting them into faint whispers. But you're not looking for answers. You're listening to the neighbor with the softest laugh, to the sound of wine being poured into terracotta cups, to sandals brushing across dust. It feels like the city is exhaling slowly, deliberately. Just once before the night fully arrives, you lean back against the warm stone wall. The fig from earlier has left its scent on your sleeve. The oil lamp beside you flickers in time with your breath, and above, unseen for now, the mountain still watches. You rise from the bench as the laughter fades behind you. The street is quieter. Now, the lamps glow like amber eyes in the dusk, casting gentle halos onto the cobblestones. Each step echoes differently, slower, softer, as if even the stones are beginning to dream. You walk without purpose, letting your feet follow the dips and curves of the old street. The sky above you is a deep, dusky violet now. The haze lingers, turning the stars into blurred pinpricks, still visible, but slightly off, redder, maybe dimmer. You pause and squint. One of them twinkles oddly. Then again, perhaps your eyes are just tired. The air smells faintly of baking brick and thyme. You pass a window where someone is grinding herbs by lamplight. The rhythmic scrape of stone on stone feels oddly musical, like a slow, sleepy drumbeat, meant just for you. Cats linger in doorways, their tails curling like question marks. One slips beside you, brushing your ankle before darting into a narrow alley. You hear it disappear with a faint patter and a muffled meow, the kind that ends a long day with a shrug. A breeze picks up, carrying a strange mix of smells, shash, pine, sea salt. You glance toward the mountain again. It is there, of course, always there, looming like a story left half told. The smoke rising from its peak is a little wider now, swirling against the starlight like a silent question, but no one answers. You hear a faint clink in amphora being set down, or perhaps a wine cup tapping gently against a step. Someone coughs behind a shutter. Somewhere a lullaby is being hummed. You drift past a fountain where moonlight rests lightly on the water's surface. You dip your fingers in. The water is cooler now, smoother, like glass just beginning to settle. You swirl it once, then let it still again. You are not walking anymore. You are floating, through sound, through scent, through shadow. The fig tree at the corner rustles one last time, and far above you, the stars keep watch, strange, quiet, and half asleep. You return at last to the domest, the Roman house that has become yours, even if only for this single, lingering day. The wooden door closes behind you with a soft click, muffling the outside world into a warm hush. The atrium is quiet now. The little fountain bubbles lazily in the corner, as if sighing through its last thoughts of the evening. The oil lamp on the low table still burns, but the flame has grown smaller, flickering like a tired storyteller, unsure whether to finish the tale. You cross the room slowly, every step light, as though walking through someone else's memory, and then, your resting place. You lie down on the low mat once again, folding yourself into the same space where the day began. It feels different now, not smaller, but deeper, like the weight of time has gently settled into the corners. The stone beneath you is warm from earlier sun, and cool in the shadowed parts where your shoulder meets the floor. Above you, the ceiling painted with ancient gods and floral spirals seems to breathe with the light. Bacchus reclines eternally. In one corner, his wine cup raised mid-toast. Around him, clusters of painted grapes and ivy trail across the plaster. Faded, but still smiling. You trace them with your eyes, following the vines as they twist and curl into nothing. There are cracks in the paint now, little fissures like veins in marble. You wonder how many others have lain beneath these same stories, watching them shift with flickering lamplight. The house creaks gently, not ominously, but like an old friend, settling into sleep. Outside, the last of the market clatter has vanished. The city holds its breath, wrapped in linen and moonlight. You turn to your side. The mat crinkles beneath you. The blanket, though rough, smells faintly of lavender. A cool draft slides along the floor. And then, a sound, low, far, a boom deep and slow, like thunder, but thicker. It rolls across the city in a wave of silence, then fades. You sit up, the lamp flickers. Dogs bark in the distance. Someone calls out into the dark, and far beyond the rooftops. The top of the mountain is gone. You rise slowly, uncertain, if you're still dreaming. But know your breath is shallow now, your ears still ringing from the sound. That boom was not imagined. The air holds it, like a vibration caught between the buildings. Even the walls seem to lean in, listening. You move toward the courtyard. The oil lamp beside your mat wavers violently, the tiny flame gasping in the air. It steadies, then shudders again. And outside, just beyond the tiled roof, the sky is no longer the same. You see it, Mount Vesuvius, once a sleeping shadow, now burns. Not flame, not smoke, but something in between. From its summit rises a towering black column, thick as a tree trunk, clawing upward in slow motion. It does not drift like smoke. It climbs like something alive. The stars vanish behind it. The sky glows orange at its base. Red lightning flashes within the dark tower of Ashdod. You stand still in the doorway. No one has screamed yet, but the silence is cracking. You hear the first shout, a man's voice, somewhere far off, calling a name into the wind. Then a woman's cry, then running footsteps, then doors slamming, then chaos. You step outside. Ash already falls in light flakes, like strange snow. You catch one on your hand. It's warm, not hot, just alive. More fall. A sprinkle at first, then more. The dog from earlier races past you down the street, tail low, eyes wide. It makes no sound. People begin to spill into the alleys, some wrapped in cloaks, others barefoot. A woman carries a child on one hip, and nothing else. Her eyes meet yours. She says nothing, just keeps moving. The air shifts. The mountain lets out another sound, not a crack this time, but a long, low rumble like the throat of the earth clearing itself. Pebbles roll across the stone streets. Above, the black column grows, wider now, taller, reaching into everything. You glance back at the house, your home, for this day. The oil lamp still burns inside, but you do not go back. You step into the Ashdod. Your heart begins to race, but your steps are steady. The world is changing now, and you are walking straight into it. You walk slowly into the street, and it no longer feels like the same road you crossed this morning. The cobblestones are blurred now, softened under a gathering veil of pale gray. It drifts down from the sky in a steady hushish, fine as flour, warm as breath. You reach out a hand again. Another flake lands on your palm. It's not sharp. It doesn't burn. But it leaves a faint trace, a ghostly mark, as if even the sky is trying to leave a memory of itself on your skin. The city is quieter than it should be. Not silent but muffled. The kind of quiet you feel in snowfall, when all the sound is wrapped in soft layers, and nothing echoes quite right. Even the shouting has quieted now, dulled by the drifting ash and disbelief. A group of neighbors stands in the open street, looking up, blinking slowly. Their clothes, dark and clean only, moments ago, are dusted now and white. One man brushes his shoulder off, then gives up. It's already back again. A child nearby laughs, softly laughs. He spins in the ash like it's a game. His mother grabs his arm, pulls him close, and holds him too tightly. He doesn't laugh again. The air is thicker, not dangerous. Not yet, but different. You breathe slowly through your nose. The scent has changed, sharper, earthier, touched with something that reminds you of burning pine and wet soil. Not smoke, not fire, just the scent of the deep earth coming up to meet you. The wind shifts. You hear shutters slamming, footsteps scattering, sandals slipping on stone. Still, No panic. Not yet. Just confusion. Just awe. Everyone is looking at the sky, trying to read it like scripture, hoping the ash will spell something out before it buries the page. The gods, if they are here, have said nothing. And yet, the ash continues, falling in sheets, layer by layer, like a city being tucked in by the sky itself. You brush flakes from your lashes. You breathe deep, once more, and somewhere, not far off, the mountain gives a growl, like thunder through teeth. The ash is falling faster now, no longer a lazy drift, but a steady curtain, painting every surface with shades of pale gray. You begin to walk more quickly, then jog, then stop again unsure where to go, or why. The city no longer offers direction, only echoes. Somewhere, to your left, you hear a shout, a name called into the thickening air. Then another voice, then three more, all overlapping, none of them reaching their mark. It's as if the sound itself gets swallowed by the ash before it can finish. You spot a woman crouched in the middle of the street, struggling to tie her young son's sandal. His small foot kicks, resisting. "Stand still," she whispers. Not harshly, but urgently. The boy clutches a doll, wooden and soot-dusted. His eyes are too wide for a child. The woman looks up. Her eyes meet yours. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. You kneel beside them without thinking. You tie the knot, fast, tight. She nods, scoops the boy into her arms, and moves. So do you. Your own sandals are loose. Now one slips sideways, threatening to trip you. You bend to fix it, but the ash is ankle-deep, and your hands tremble. You tighten it hastily, messily, and begin to run, again not fleeing, just moving, just keeping up with whatever rhythm this strange, unspoken exodus demands. You pass others, some with cloaks held over their mouths, some with nothing at all. One old man drags a goat by a rope. The goat fights every step. A young couple stumbles through a doorway with their arms full of scrolls and nothing else. Another man stands frozen in the street, eyes fixed on the sky, muttering a prayer you don't recognize. No one screams, not yet, but the silence is becoming heavier than noise. The sky above is nearly gone, now just a smear of black and red, rippling with flashes of strange lightning, as if the heavens are cracking open in slow motion. You keep moving, though you do not know where. The ground feels softer beneath your steps, your breath shorter. And above it all, the mountain pulses, like a giant heartbeat hidden behind smoke. You follow the flow of ash-covered figures toward the edge of the city, where the buildings thin and the wind sharpens. Somewhere ahead, through the haze, you catch the scent of salt, sharp and clean, and your feet turn instinctively toward it. The road slopes downward. Your sandals scrape over stone, now buried under soft grit. The sky above is darker than dusk, yet the sun has not set. Behind you, Pompeii has begun to disappear, swallowed slowly by the gray veil that trails from the mountain like a breath that never ends. And then, you see it dot the sea. But it is no longer the shimmering blue you remember from earlier. It is black ink, black still, silent, wrong. The waves do not roll or lap gently as they once did. They simply rise and fall in place, glassy and unreadable, like a sheet of obsidian stretched too thin. Several boats bob gently at the shore, othered abandoned, their sails furled tightly like hands clasped in prayer. You hear someone nearby whisper, "The gods have turned the water to oil." It certainly looks that way. A man stands knee-deep in the surf, frozen. He stares out, not at the horizon, but at his own reflection, a warped, rippling shadow. His mouth is open, though no sound comes. You step past him, moving toward the sand, which is coated now with a thin layer of ash. It squeaks faintly beneath your feet. A seagull lies on the shore, unmoving. You look closer. It's not dead. It breathes slowly, wings folded tight, like it is waiting for a storm to pass. You sit beside it for a moment, knees to chest. You don't touch it. You simply sit. A child nearby cries. Another pulls him close. No one tells them to be quiet. The air tastes strange salt and smoke, and something heavy, like rain that forgot how to fall. The water reflects the red glow behind you. The volcano's fire has reached the sea without moving a single stone. You stand once more. The boats are waiting, but no one boards them. The sea is not an escape today, only another question. And behind you, the mountain answers with another low, distant roar. You lift your eyes as a new sound slices through the Aztec-era crack, sharp and sudden, like the sky has been torn open by invisible hands. It is not thunder. It is something else, something deeper, something old. The light shifts. What remains of the sun disappears behind the rising cloud. Shadows vanish. Everything becomes the same color stone, skin, sandals, dust all dulled under a smoky veil, and above, the plume dot. It is no longer a pillar. It is a canopy, a dark, boiling umbrella stretching across the heavens, miles wide, pulsing with streaks of red lightning that fork and fade in silence. The cloud rolls outward like ink spilled on parchment, slow but unstoppable. It casts a shadow so complete, it feels as though night has fallen long before its time. You are not the only one who stares. All around, others have stopped moving, mouths open, feet planted, faces tilted to the sky. No one speaks. Not now. There is only breath and dust and awe. Not the beautiful kind. The kind that tightens the chest. The mountain has become a god now, and it is speaking in smoke and fire. Someone drops a clay jar. It shatters against the ground, though no one flinches. Another child begins to cry. That sound breaks the spell. Slowly, the world starts to move again. A woman wraps her scarf tighter over her nose. A man lifts his tunic to shield his eyes. People begin to run, not together, not toward anything, just away from whatever rises behind them. And yet you remain for a moment longer. The sky above is not blue, not gray. It is the color of charcoal and blood, a heavy, bruised canvas. You can feel the air press against your chest, thickening with every breath. The wind shifts. Ash begins to fall faster now, in larger pieces, flakes and pebbles, and bits of something scorched. You blink through it. You taste it. And still, you watch, because the sky has cracked, and something ancient is stepping through. You turn your back at last, and begin to walk. Not fast, not slow, just forward, into the falling ash, as you move back through the city's outer streets. The ash now gathers along walls and windowsills, slipping between roof tiles and curling beneath door frames like a guest invited too late. The storm hasn't yet arrived in full, but its fingers are already pulling Pompeii apart. Doors hang open, some wide, some half ajar, swaying slightly on their hinges with the breath of the mountain. You pass one domus where a meal sits untouched, bread still warm, a clay bowl tipped just enough to let olive oil drip slowly across the table's edge. A cup rests beside it, rocking faintly, as if someone just stepped away. But no one returns. The next doorway reveals more, a small bedroom, with a collapsed stool, linens flung across the floor, a single sandal, just one. You pause, not from fear, just hesitation. It feels wrong to witness these small abandonments, like reading someone's letter without permission, like opening a diary that forgot to close. A dog barks somewhere nearby, short and sharp, then silence again. In the distance, someone shouts a name, 2 syllables, urgent, desperate. It echoes once, then dies in the ash-heavy air. No reply follows. You keep moving. The ash is thicker now beneath your feet, gathering in your sandals, tugging softly at your steps. It's warm, still deceptively gentle, still pretending to be snow. You brush it from your sleeves, knowing it will be back in moments. A broken cart blocks part of the street, its wheels snapped and leaning. Fruit lies scattered nearby, figs and dates, bruised and dusted. You step over them gently, as though avoiding someone's memories. One of the doors swings again beside you. A breeze pushes it open wider. It creaks. You glance inside. A small figurine lies on the floor, a household god, toppled from its niche. You consider picking it up, but somehow, it feels like it's already let go. You walk on. Not every door will close again. Not every home will be remembered. But still, you pass them quietly, one by one, as the ash begins to rise, and Pompeii begins to fold itself shut. You make your way back toward the Forum, the heart of Pompeii. Though it feels different now, less like a gathering place, more like a shell. The wide plaza is shrouded in a pale, powdery haze. You see the outlines of once proud columns fading into the distance like ghosts, rehearsing their exit. The people who remain gather in uncertain clusters, shoulders hunched, faces wrapped in cloth, eyes wide and glistening with ash and something quieter. Fear no one speaks loudly here anymore. Conversations come in low murmurs, quick glances, half-formed questions. Someone kneels at the base of a statue, whispering to it, clutching its foot like a child pleading for comfort. The marble does not answer. The face of the senator above remains impassive, streaked now with soot that drips like tears. You step forward slowly, your sandals brushing over the stone, ash rising with each step like the memory of footsteps long forgotten. The great bronze doors of the basilica stand open, but no one dares enter. Even shelter has become suspect. At one end of the plaza, a priest in white robes stands upon a platform, hands raised toward the volcano. He chants in Latin, his voice cracked and dry. The words might be prayers, or poetry, or simply panic, wrapped in ritual. A few kneel with him, most do not. You glance toward the fountain, its water is murky now, pale with dust. The coins at the bottom are barely visible. You remember them gleaming once, now they're shadows. Wishes drowned in gray. A girl clutches her doll. It's wrapped in a scrap of linen, its painted face half smeared. She holds it tightly, not crying, just holding. Her mother places a hand on her head, but says nothing. The ground shifts again, only slightly. A long, slow tremble, like the city exhaling beneath your feet. A nearby wall gives a soft groan. Pebbles tumble from a cracked arch. Still, no one runs. Not yet. You feel the weight of it, how everyone knows, but no one wants to be the first to move. Not here. Not in the Forum. Not beneath the gaze of the gods. You breathe in ash. You exhale slowly, and the statue behind you does not blink, but you swear it wants to. You turn away from the Forum, your eyes stinging now, not from grief, not even fear, but from the swirling ash that paints the air like powdered time. The streets are quieter here, less crowded, just the sound of footsteps and cloth brushing against stone. And then, you see it. On the wall of a narrow alley, scrawled with a fingertip through the ash, a message. Run to the sea. The letters are messy, uneven, and rushed. Someone wrote them not long ago. The ash has not had time to bury the words. A fresh mark in an ancient place. You step closer. Beneath it, another message, this one more frantic. Do not trust the sky. And then a third, almost hidden. Is this the end? You stare at them for a long time. There is something painfully human in the panic of each phrase. No poetry, no drama, just raw thoughts, unfiltered. A desperate attempt to mark something before vanishing. You reach out to touch one of the lines. The ash smears beneath your fingertips. The words blur immediately. A sentence reduced to streaks. You feel an odd sense of guilt, as if you've silenced someone who needed to be remembered. Further down the alley, more scratches line the walls, not all in Latin. Some are just symbols, spirals, stars. One simply says, I'm sorry. You wonder how many others left messages, and how many were never written at all. A breeze pushes through the alley, picking up the dust. and sending it spiraling upward. You shield your eyes, step back. When you look again, one of the messages is already gone. Erased like a dream at waking. Footsteps behind you. A man passes by without looking. His face is gray with ash, his eyes too wide. He does not speak. Neither do you. You continue down the alley. Each step feels like walking through a book that is erasing itself as you turn the pages. The sky darkens against a little, a deeper shade of something unnameable, and behind you, the last word still clings faintly to the wall. Remember, but the ash keeps falling, and nothing lasts forever. The smell reaches you before anything. El's bread, but not the kind you tasted this morning. It is thicker now, edged with bitterness and char, like something warm that has gone too far. You turn a corner and see it. The bakery, one of the busiest in the district, its brick oven still glowing faintly from the morning's fire. But this is not a morning anymore. Flames lit quietly from within, no longer controlled, dancing in the hollow mouth of the hearth. A wooden beam above the door has caught just barely. Smoke trickles up from it in lazy threads, almost too gently to seem dangerous. The street around it is empty. You step closer, cautiously. The baskets out front are overturned. A few loaves lie in the ash, darkened at the edges, some still recognizable. You crouch, pick one up. It is warm, heavy, burnt at the bottom, cracked open on top, like a yawn frozen mid-breath. Inside the shop, a shape moves. A man, the baker. You watch him, silent. He stands still in the doorway, soot smudged across his cheek, paddle in hand, like a sword too weary for battle. He does not shout. He does not flee. He simply stares into the fire, and for a moment, you wonder if he will try to put it out. He doesn't single quotes T. Instead, he steps back inside, slowly, carefully, lifting a fresh tray of dough from a shelf. He sets it near the oven, as if this were just another afternoon, another order, another day. You almost say something, but you don't, because somehow, you understand. He has spent his life turning raw things into warmth, feeding the city, feeding strangers. He cannot leave this place, not yet, perhaps not ever. A soft crack breaks the silence, as ceiling tile falling inside. He flinches, just once, then steadies himself. You step back. The flames have spread a little more now, but still, he works. You walk on, not because it is right, but because some moments are not meant to be interrupted. Behind you, the bakery glows orange in the ash-gray air, and the scent of burning bread follows you like the final memory of a long-forgotten feast. You walk deeper into the side streets now, where the alleys narrow and the buildings lean closer together, like old friends whispering in the dark. The ash here is thicker. It clings to your cloak, to your eyebrows, to the folds of your thoughts. The wind has quieted again. Even the volcano's growl seems to have paused, as though it too is holding its breath. As you pass a modest doorway, but tidy, you feel something shift, subtle as a sigh. You glance to the side and see it, a curtain drawn just slightly back. A pair of eyes watches from within, wide, silent, still. You pause, not from fear, but from that strange instinct that tells you when you're being watched with hope instead of suspicion. The curtain flutters. The eyes vanish. Another window, another movement. In the homes that haven't yet collapsed or emptied, people still wait. Not all have fled. Some have chosen their silence. Or perhaps their fear has tied them to the place, stronger than any logic could pull them away. You hear the creak of a stair, a whisper through wood, a child's cough. No voices speak out. You pass another window, this one shuttered, but light peeks through the cracks. A candle maybe, a lamp, a promise to stay. You wonder who stays behind by choice and who stays because they believe there is nowhere else to go. It feels like the city itself is dividing now, not just into ash and stone, but into those who move and those who remain. You feel the weight of that choice pressing against you. The stillness behind those curtains is not empty. It is full of decisions, of whispered prayers, of eyes blinking slowly in the dark. You do not knock. You do not call out. You simply walk past, softly, respectfully, as if passing by someone already asleep. The street winds forward, the wind rises again, and behind you, the curtains fall back into place. Nothing said, everything understood. As you continue through the twisting lanes, you begin to notice them shrines, tucked into corners, resting beneath arches, standing like quiet sentinels among the ash and fear. Small altars, simple, made of stone or clay, or even old wood. Each one different, each one sacred in its own quiet way. At the foot of one, a bowl of grapes already turning dull from falling ash. Another holds a clay cup of wine, untouched but brimming. A sprig of rosemary rests beside it, crushed slightly, still breathing its sharp scent into the dust-choked air. You stop before one of the larger shrines, built into the curve of a wall where two alleys meet. A painted image of Lares, the household gods, watches over the space. Their faces have faded over time, but their eyes remain open, still, unwavering. Someone has lit a stick of incense. It smolders gently, trailing smoke upward into the air, already thick with the mountain's breath. But this smoke is different, weeder, intentional, almost defiant. A quiet reminder that not all fire is born in fear. A coin glints at the base of the altar. Not a bribe, not a payment, just a gesture. You reach into your pouch and add another knot, because you believe it will change anything, but because it feels like the right thing to do. A thank you, perhaps. A goodbye dot from somewhere behind you. Sandals scuff the stone. A man walks past without a word, a chicken under one arm. He glances at the shrine, then bows his head just once. Not deeply, just enough. Another gust of ash blown. Wind curls around the corner. The incense flickers. The rosemary stirs. You step back. These little shrines are all over the city. You realize this now. You've walked past them your whole day this day, that is longer than most. But only now do you see them for what they are. Anchors to belief, to memory, to the idea that something out there still listens. You move on, slower. Behind you, the smoke from the incense rises straight, unbroken, into the darkened sky. Not swallowed, not shaken, just rising. The street bends once more. And as the ash swirls gently ahead of you, you spot a shape in the fog, a dark figure, standing alone near the edge of a wall. For a moment, your mind suggests it is a statue, one of many in Pompeii's winding roads. But as you step closer, you realize it is not marble. It is a mule, tethered to a post, reins limp, ears twitching. Its sides rise and fall, with slow, even breaths, its legs stiff, but not trembling. It does not make a sound. It simply stands, staring forward, eyes locked on something far away. Or maybe nothing at all. Its coat is streaked with soot, dulling the once glossy black into a muted charcoal. Ash clings to the hairs around its nose. Its tail. You notice the empty cart beside it, half filled with emph. Whoever guided it here is long gone now. You stop in front of the animal. You say nothing, and it does not flinch. Not even as a loud crack echoes in the far distance. Not even as the wind stirs again and lifts your cloak. It remains rooted, as if carved from the ground itself. You reach out slowly, gently, and touch its shoulder. Warm, real. The mule turns its head slightly, toward you. Its eyes meet yours. Wide, silent, not afraid, not trusting, just waiting. Without really knowing why, you begin to untie the reins from the post. The knot is simple, a few loops, tight from time and stillness. Your fingers work quickly, almost from memory, and then the rope slips free. The mule blinks once, then steps forward. One step, then another. No gratitude, no panic, just movement. You watch it walk slowly, steadily, until it disappears around the corner, swallowed by the rising gray. You stand alone again, but somehow, lighter. Not every rescue needs words. Not every bond needs names. You turn back to the road. The ash is deeper now, soft beneath your steps, like silt at the bottom of a still river, and far ahead, the wind whistles quietly through the city that is slowly forgetting itself. You walk forward with care, now partly from fatigue, partly from instinct. The ash beneath your feet is no longer powder. It clumps together in soft, shifting mounds, and with every step, the road feels less certain. Then you see it, just ahead, a crack in the earth, not wide, not dangerous at first glance, just a slender fault slicing across the road like a drawn line, new, jagged, and quiet. Steam rises faintly from its depths, coiling in lazy spirals, disappearing before it reaches your knees. You approach slowly. The fissure smells of sulfur and stone. Dampness clings to its edges. You kneel beside it, placing your hand close, not on it, just near enough to feel the whisper of heat rising from beneath. The breath of something ancient, something shifting. A small pebble rolls into the gap. It vanishes without a sound. You glance up. Across the crack, an old column has tilted ever so slightly, like a tired sentinel trying to remain upright after a long watch. A bird perches atop it, ash coating its feathers like frost. It flaps once, unsure, and then takes off in a slow, uncertain arc. The world is not collapsing all at once. It is breaking apart quietly, in lines, in layers, in silence. You step carefully over the crack, the ash puffing beneath your foot like smoke. Your balance holds. You move on, more aware, no eyes searching the road ahead for fractures, for the little signs that nothing here is quite solid anymore. Another tremor rumbles beneath your soles. Longer this time, not violent, just tired, as though the earth itself is stretching. Pause near a small alcove, an abandoned storefront, shelves inside still holding empty jars and faded fabrics. Dust floats in the doorway, undisturbed. You lean against the stone wall beside it. Your knees ache. Your breath comes slower. Your thoughts feel thick, like trying to walk through water. You close your eyes, just for a moment, and the ground shifts again, just a sigh this time. You open your eyes. You walk on, not faster, not slower, just with care. Because now, even the streets are learning how to break. You reach the edge of a plaza, where the city's outer streets begin to frail, as crowded, less certain, shaped more by the land than by plan. Here, the road splits. One path veers down toward the harbor, the faint scent of salt carried in the breeze. The other curves sharply inland, toward the hills that cradle the next town over, Herculaneum. A small group has gathered at the fork, arguing in low, breathless voices. Some point toward the ships already covered in ash, their sails slack and gray. Others gesture inland, up the road, where the slope seems steeper, but more solid. You pause near them. Listen. One man says the sea is cursed. Did you see it? He asks. No one in particular. It doesn't move anymore. A woman insists the mountain won't reach Herculaneum. The gods favor it, she says, as if repeating something she needs to believe. A child sits between them all, playing silently, with a piece of broken tile, scraping lines into the dust. You say nothing? You look at both paths. The harbor lies under a veil of haze now, the outlines of the ships already blurred. The wind from the sea carries ash with it, soft and constant. But the road to Herculaneum curves away from the smoke. You cannot see where it ends, but it feels quieter, not safe, but maybe less doomed. You glance toward the mountain. The plume above it has changed shape again, like a giant hand, now spreading its fingers across the sky. It stretches toward both roads without preference. A soft tremor rolls through the ground. The child stops drawing. Everyone falls silent for a moment. Then, slowly, they begin to choose. One by one, some head toward the boats. Others, like you, turn uphill. You begin to walk again, ash crunching beneath your steps, sandals dragging slightly in the dust. The group around you grows smaller with distance, but you feel them nearby, breathing, moving, hoping in quiet ways. You do not know what waits in Herculaneum, but the mountain is behind you now, and for the first time today, you are walking away from it. The road to Herculaneum curves like a ribbon across a shallow rise, lined with low stone walls and dry olive trees clinging to the hillside. You walk in a small group now bound by the quiet rhythm of shared urgency. No one speaks. The wind rises softly, stirring the ash into gentle spirals that lift and fall like breath. But this breeze carries more than dust. It carries names. You hear them, not spoken, not clearly, but half whispers, like words just on the edge of hearing. Lucia, Marcus, Aaliyah. The syllables swirl around you, echoing faintly between your ears, touching your skin like memories brushing past. You pause, uncertain. Did someone call out? You look to your left, your right. No one moves. No mouths open. Just the wind. You close your eyes. The names come again, not louder, but closer. Lucia. You've never known a Lucia. Marcus. You knew a boy with that name once. Maybe. Or perhaps you've read it somewhere. Lia. That one you feel deep in your chest, like a thread pulled tight. It is not frightening. It is familiar. Like the voices belong to the city itself, whispering farewells, calling out to those who haven't answered. Or perhaps they are names carved into walls, now lifted into the sky by the mountain's breath. The path dips slightly. Your foot sinks into the ash, now knee-high in some places. You keep moving. Others ahead of you press forward, heads low, scarves over their mouths. One man mutters prayers between gasps. A woman clutches a leather satchel to her chest, like it contains her whole world. Above, the sky is colorless. No blue, no stars. Just swirling shadow, pierced occasionally by lightning that does not flash at pulses. Slow, red, ancient. You step carefully, and again, the wind speaks. Ius, Sabina, Titus, names. The city will never finish speaking. You press your hand to your chest. You do not know them. And yet, you do. You keep walking, with ash beneath you, with names around you, with the mountain's voice behind you, and ahead, a bend in the road, where something waits quietly in the fog. You round the bend in the road, where the olive trees thin out and the earth turns to ash-powdered stone, soft underfoot and quieter with each step. The group ahead has splintered into pairs, into singles, into shapes blurred by distance and dust, and there just beyond the curve you see her, a woman, older, wrapped in a deep brown shawl, her posture curved from years you'll never know. She walks slowly, carefully, holding something close to her chest. A wooden box, no larger than a loaf of bread, gripped with both hands as if it might fly away if she dared to loosen her fingers. She doesn't look at you. She doesn't look at anyone. Her eyes stay locked on the road, blinking ash away, her mouth pressed into a line of memory. You fall into step behind her, not out of curiosity, but out of something quieter. Reverence, maybe. Then, a tremor. Soft, like a sigh, but enough. Her foot slips slightly in the loose ash. Just a little. Her grip falters. The box slips from her arms. It hits the ground with a dull wooden thud. The lid pops open just an inch, maybe two. Ash spills out, not volcanic, not from the sky, but from within. She freezes. Her hands fluttered, not quick, not frantic, just lost, like they do not know whether to gather or let go. The road holds its breath with her. You kneel beside the box, inside a small cloth bag, worn, tied with twine. Gray dust clings to the folds. The woman lowers herself beside you, slowly, her knees creaking, her breath shallow. She does not cry. She does not speak. She only reaches out and lifts the cloth bag into her lap. cradling it like a child. My husband, she says softly, her voice barely air. He died last winter. You nod. She looks down at the now empty box, then back at the bundle, and after a long moment, she leaves the box behind. She rises this time slower, steadier, and begins to walk again. You follow. Some things we carry, even when they scatter, even when they weigh nothing at all. The ash swirls gently around your feet, and the road continues forward. The road curves gently to the left, where a low stone wall runs along a garden long abandoned, its grapevines choked by ash, its ground pale and soft as sifted flour. You walk slowly now, steps quieter than your thoughts, still holding the memory of the woman and her box. Then, a sound. Not thunder, not a tremor, but something more human. A crack, sharp, final, close. You turned at the edge of the garden. A small statue once standing proudly atop a column topples forward in a slow-motion collapse. Its base crumbles. Its balance falters. Its arms reach for nothing, and then it falls. Not with violence, not with drama, but like something giving up. It hits the ground with a soft thud, cushioned by ash, followed by the faint clinking of its broken fingers scattering across the soil. You step toward it. The figure is Mercury, god of messengers and travelers, his winged sandals still delicate, even in ruin, his face chipped, but peaceful. He has always stood here, a watcher over this path, a quiet symbol of movement and passage now. He lies sideways, half buried already, as if the earth has decided to take him back. You crouch beside him. The garden is silent. The vines no longer move in the breeze. There is no breeze. Everything feels suspended, held in pause by the falling dust and the weight of what has already been lost. You reach out and touch the statue's foot. It's cool beneath the ash, solid still, but tired, as though even stone can only endure so much. You do not try to lift him. You do not try to fix anything. You simply sit beside him for a moment. Two travelers on the same road, both of you watching the sky shift. Then, gently, you rise. The path ahead waits, and behind you, Mercury sleeps, not broken, but resting, not silent, but done speaking. You leave him there, as the ash gathers quietly around his form, and with every step forward, you hear less of the city behind you, and more of yourself. You reach a rise in the path, a gentle hill, overlooking what was once the vibrant sprawl of Pompeii. From here, the city spreads out beneath you like a faded mosaic, edges blurring, corners softened by the weight of ash and memory. You stop and look. It is no longer a city, not really. It is a shape beneath a veil. The roads you walked this morning are gone now, hidden beneath a powdery film. Rooftops sag under the weight. Statues lean, half buried. The great forum is barely visible, just a rectangular outline wrapped in gray. The temples, the fountains, the painted walls, they flicker in and out of view through the haze, like memories slowly forgetting themselves. You squint. Is that the bathhouse? Or a collapsed market stall? It's hard to tell now. Everything is covered in the same soft silence. And above it all, the plume still climbs, a vast, towering shadow, reaching toward heaven, dark at its core, glowing faintly at its edges, with a strange, pulsing light. Red lightning flickers inside it without thunder, like the mountain is breathing fire, but refusing to shout. A hand touches your shoulder gently, one of the travelers from earlier. They say nothing, just stand beside you. You share the view in silence. Two silhouettes watching something that was alive only hours ago, and now it is disappearing. You feel the wind shift. It carries a soft sound like pages turning, like doors closing far away. You close your eyes for a moment. Pompeii is slipping into stillness, not with violence, with grace, a kind of hush the world only offers once. You open your eyes again and realize you are not looking at a city anymore. You are looking at a memory, a place already halfway between then and never again. You take one step backward, not away from it, but to remember how it looked before it's gone. The traveler beside you turns and begins walking again. You follow, slowly, and behind you, the mountain whispers one last gust of breath. Pompeii does not answer. It only falls gently, asleep beneath its veil. The path slopes gently downward now, following the natural curve of the land. You recall, faintly, that a river once ran here, a thin stream that trickled beside the road like a quiet companion, weaving through vineyards and olive groves with silver light. But now, there is nothing, no glimmer, no sound, just a dark indentation in the earth, like the trace of a forgotten signature. You step down into its bed, expecting dampness, the soft give of mud beneath your feet. But the ground is dry, brittle. The channel is filled with fine ash, packed like chalk powder. Each footfall rises in a puff, then settles again. The fish are gone, not taken by water or swept away by current. They lie still, dozens of them, coated in dust, mouths open, eyes turned dull, as if the stream had vanished in an instant, and left them confused mid-breath. A young boy stands beside one, poking it gently with a stick. His sandals are far too big for him. You expect a question, but he only says, "Will it come back?" You open your mouth, then close it. There's no answer that feels kind enough. The boy drops the stick and walks ahead, following a woman with a long braid. She carries a jug that holds nothing. The way she walks, you know she already understands. You kneel at the edge of the dried riverbed. Run your hand along the surface. Beneath the dust, you feel smooth stone, rounded by years of water that will not return. It was never a mighty river, just a modest stream, but it mattered, because it moved, because it sang, because it was alive. Now it is silent. You rise and step over the stream, as if crossing into another world, one where water no longer remembers the paths it carved, and life no longer flows where it once did. You do not mourn loudly, but your steps are slower, and the air, though still warm, feels emptier without the river's song. You climb a short rise beyond the dry riverbed, the ash shifting beneath your feet like silt stirred from the bottom of a forgotten sea. Each step feels a little heavier now, not from effort, but from something else. The silence has grown thicker. Even the wind holds back, and then you feel it gold. Cold, not a breeze, not a draft, but a breath, a sudden wash of air that brushes your face, chills your arms, and slips down the back of your neck like a whisper from beneath the earth. It arrives without warning, unexpected, and out of place in a world still glowing with volcanic heat. You stop, so do the others. The man walking behind you wraps his arms tightly around himself. The woman with the empty jug shivers once, sharply. No one speaks. The cold has caught them. To Dot it passes just as quickly, but it leaves something behind. Unease, a pause in your blood, as if the mountain has just inhaled, and the whole world is waiting for what comes next. You wrap your cloak tighter. Ahead, a small shrine lies half buried in the dust. A stone carving of a lion stands atop it, his mouth open mid-roar, though time has worn away the teeth. Ash coats his mane, softening his strength. He looks less like a guardian now, and more like a memory pretending to be brave. You step past him, feeling the chill still clinging to the edges of your skin. The others move again, slower now, cautious, like walking through fog that remembers. Your name, no birds, no insects, no sound at all. You begin to wonder if you're dreaming, but dreams are warmer. The road dips slightly into a valley, where the air feels thicker. Still, that cold breath lingers at the back of your neck, reminding you that the mountain does not burn alone. It breathes, it listens, it waits. You press forward, heart quiet, hands tucked deep into your sleeves, and though the wind is gone again, you cannot shake the feeling that something unseen has just walked past you, going the other way. You follow the bend in the path, your sandals brushing over ash and stone. The footsteps of others stretch ahead, half buried now, fading quickly. With every gust of dust that swirls and settles, time has grown soft around the edges. Then something catches your eye just off the side of the road, a scrap of parchment. You pause, bend down, and gently lift it from the ash. The edges are curled and brittle. The ink has run in places, smeared by something, tears, rain, or maybe just the weight of the air itself. But the words remain. They are careful, small, written by someone who thought they would be read. If you find this, we loved fiercely. Remember the olives. Tell them I stayed. No name, no date, just that. You read it twice, then fold it carefully, not for safekeeping, but for honoring. You tuck it inside your cloak, next to your chest. It feels warm there, though you know it's only your breath. You wonder who wrote it. A merchant with a vineyard, maybe. A wife, waiting by the sea. A brother who turned back too late. Someone who chose to write instead of run. Someone who wanted above all else not to be forgotten. And now, they won't be. The air thickens again, curling low across the valley floor. Ash drifts down, in long threads, slow and deliberate. Like the sky itself is writing something back. You look behind you. The road is already changing. The shrine with the lion is nearly gone now, swallowed by gray. Even your own footprints are fading, being rewritten by the mountain with every step. It is erasing gently, with kindness. Almost, you turn forward again. The parchment presses against your ribs, quiet and small. The others ahead move slowly, some hunched beneath cloaks, some carrying nothing but each other. And above you, the sky pulses faintly, like it too is remembering. The road narrows into a passage flanked by low stone walls. Once vineyard boundaries, now just memory lines in the ash. You follow quietly. The sky, a muted gray sheet above. Then your foot hits something not soft, not ash, but solid. You pause. Beneath the thin powder lies a face, not a real one, a mask. You kneel, brush the ash away gently. It is carved wood-olive, maybe with a delicate mouth and hollow eyes. A theater mask. The kind worn in comedies and tragedies alike. Half of it is cracked. The paint has faded, but the smile remains. Beside it, another. This one frowns. You realize you are standing in the remains of a traveling troops cart, half burned, its wheels buried, its frame collapsed. Scattered around it are fragments, fabric, sandals, a wooden flute snapped in half, and these masks. The air feels stiller here, like the place itself is holding a final breath. You pick up the smiling mask, turning it slowly in your hands. You wonder who wore it. Did they perform for laughter, or wear it while grief grew outside the city walls? Were they still holding it when the sky fell? Or did they place it down, gently knowing that some stories cannot be acted out? The road behind you is quiet. Ahead, the others walk slower. They feel it, too. You place the mask back, resting it carefully beside its frowning twin. Their expressions, frozen opposites, feel oddly fitting now. Pompeii's last performance, a comedy left unfinished, a tragedy no longer rehearsed. You step over the edge of the cart and rejoin the path, and, as you do, you imagine the sound of applause, echoing faintly through the ash. Not from an audience, but from the memory of one, clapping for something they never finished seeing. The wind picks up for a moment, lifting the edges of a torn curtain still nailed to a broken frame, and then it settles again. You breathe in through your nose, the scent of old wood, soot, and something floral maybe. Lavender lingers in the air, like stage perfume clinging to costumes long gone. The path widens again, and the world continues. Its play unfinished, its actors scattered like masks in the dust. The ash has grown deeper now, rising nearly to your knees in places, making every step feel like a small surrender. You lean forward slightly, arms tucked close, your breath fogging the inside of your cloak. Ahead, the others slow not from fear, but from something else. A gate. It stands, crooked, half swallowed by the slope, its iron frame bent, its hinges fused with rust and heat. Once, this must have been an entrance, not grand, but guarded. Perhaps it led to a villa, or a sacred grove, or simply another part of the countryside that no longer remembers its own name. But the keeper is gone. No one waits here now. No voice challenges you. No torch burns beside the gateposts. Just a vine curling through the bars like it's trying to grow something out of all this. Forgetting, you approach. There's no door to open anymore. The iron hangs like a question, and the road simply slips past it, unchanged. You place your hand on the post anyway. Not for balance, not for warmth, just to mark the moment. Your fingers come away gray. To your left, a broken bench leans against the wall, cracked under the weight of stillness. You sit, for just a moment. Let your legs rest. Let your thoughts gather themselves. It is quiet here, no coughing, no crying, no footsteps. Only the faint hush of ash falling from the sky, like snow that has forgotten how to melt. You look around. The gate feels less like a border now, and more like a transition. A place where one life stopped, and another began. The one where you kept walking. You stand again. Slower this time. The iron creaks slightly as you pass by, though there is no wind. It almost sounds like a whisper, not a warning, not a welcome. Just the metal, remembering how to speak. The others wait a few paces ahead, turned to watch if you'll follow. You do. Behind you, the gate keeps standing, not locked, not open, just there. The path narrows again, threading between what once might have been outbuildings or shepherd shelters, small structures, now reduced to outlines and hollow doorways, their roofs bowed inward like heads in mourning. You step over a broken threshold, and there, curled beneath a stone arch, a dog. Still. Preserved in the soft mound of ash, its body tucked tight into itself, nose to tail, as if asleep. Just one more nap before someone returns. You freeze, not from fear, but from tenderness. The shape is so intact, even the gentle curve of its spine is visible beneath the thin crust of dust. One paw stretches slightly forward, caught mid-motion, as if chasing a dream. You kneel beside it, careful not to disturb the form. The ash shifts slightly beneath your knees. There's something both sacred and ordinary about it. No collar, number, markings, just a simple animal, caught in the quiet between two heartbeats. Did it wait for its family? Did it run and turn back? Or did it simply lie down and decide to sleep through the end? The others pass by behind you, their footfalls muffled. None stop. But you remain there for a while, crouched in that doorway, listening to nothing, feeling the slow ache behind your eyes. Not sadness exactly, something gentler, a kind of knowing. You reach out and gently trace the air just above its back, not touching, only imagining warmth where none remains. It is strange how much a shape in dust can feel alive. You stand slowly, brush your knees, step carefully back into the light. As you do, the wind stirs again, faint and low. The ash around the archway lifts and settles. For a moment, the dog seems to exhale. But it is only the mountain, still breathing in the distance. You walk on, and, though the road is long, you carry something new now. Not grief, not fear, but memory, in the shape of a curled body. Still, patient, unmoving. Like love that stayed behind, you step away from the shelter's shadow, and into a stretch of open path, where the sky, though still cloaked in smoke, seems a little brighter gray, fading into something silvery and strange. The air cools slightly, and for the first time in hours, you look up, and there they are, the flakes. Not snow, not rain, but ash. Falling gently now, like feathers torn from an invisible sky. They swirl in slow spirals, landing on your shoulders, your hair, the backs of your hands. You raise your palm and watch one settle. Delicate and perfect. It melts into your skin without melting at all. You laugh softly, just a breath of sound. It is beautiful. That is the strange part. For a moment, the destruction feels like a snowfall. Soft, elegant, almost peaceful. You picture a quiet garden beneath this ash. The trees white, the statues frosted, the rooftops blanketed as if tucked in for sleep. Even the volcano, ever rumbling in the distance, seems subdued. Its growl has dimmed, softened to a heartbeat beneath the horizon. You reach out and let the flakes gather on your fingers. It feels like the world is slowing down, not ending, like it is preparing for something gentler. A lullaby, maybe, or a deep, endless breath. One of the travelers walking ahead holds out their arms and spins once, letting the ash coat them like a cloak. A child with them giggles, chasing the swirling particles before stopping, dizzy, and falling backward into the gray. They leave an imprint of joy. Even in this moment, you smile. Not because this is right, but because even endings can hold beauty. The ash falls quietly now. No hurry, no fear, just grace. You close your eyes for a moment and feel each flake settle on your skin like a word unsaid. You think of winter, of candles, of soft songs sung by firelight. And when you open your eyes again, the world looks less like it is, burning, and more like it is being tucked in. The road winds once more, narrowing into a garden path, though there is no garden left, only outlines of where hedges once grew. Stone pedestals rise from the ash at odd intervals, spaced too perfectly to be random, too silent to be welcoming. You pause at the first one. It holds a statue, or what is left of one. The figure's body is intact, flowing robes carved in perfect ripples, arms raised in some long-forgotten gesture of offering or praise. But the face is gone. Not cracked, missing, just smoothed away, as though time or perhaps the ash itself decided that no identity should remain. You step to the next pedestal. Another statue. Another missing face. Some stand tall, others kneel. One seems to cradle a bird in its arms, the wings still visible. Mid-beat yet where eyes should be, only blank stone curves. It is not frightening, but it is unsettling, as if these figures were never meant to be remembered individually, as if this place preserved forms, but not names. You run your hand along the robe of one. The stone is cool, dust-coated, but smooth beneath it. The craftsmanship is beautiful, the care is clear, and yet, every face is erased. You wonder, did someone do this, or did the mountain? Perhaps Pompeii's final silence is not just physical. Perhaps it is a silence of identity. You imagine the sculptor, their tools, their pride, the long hours spent carving detail into every expression. And now, the mountain has covered them all with a whisper and a sigh. The faceless watch you, not coldly, but distantly. They are not ghosts. They are echoes waiting not to be seen, but to be felt. You continue walking through them, brushing past blank eyes, forgotten mouths, and for a moment, you understand something quiet. Perhaps we are not meant to be remembered fully, just the feeling. We leave behind that a gesture, a robe, an outstretched hand. You exit the path, and behind you, the faceless figures remain still, guardians of nothing, keepers of memory, without memory. The ash falls gently on their shoulders, like snowfall that never melts. The air changes again slightly, imperceptibly, but enough to feel it deep in your chest. It's not the heavy, ash-laden air of the city, nor the dry, stifling air from the mountains. This is saltescent, but real, carried from the sea. You turn toward it, feeling the weight of it on your lips, the taste of the ocean hanging faintly on the breeze. It's a strange feeling, this pull towards something you cannot see. The road has flattened out, and now, in the distance, there's only the open land ahead, the path sloping gently toward the coast. You walk on slower now, as if the very air has a gravity to it. The sea, just out of sight, calls you like a lullaby. It feels like home, even though you've never been here before. The wind rises, brushing against your face and hair. It is cooler now, cutting through the dust, sweeping the ash in gentle waves across the ground. You pull your cloak tighter around you, but you do not mind the chill. It feels refreshing, like the world is breathing out. The path is empty, save for you. The others who were with you have drifted farther ahead, or maybe they've disappeared altogether, swallowed by the haze. You do not look back. You reach the top of a small rise, and, at last, you see it, the sea. It lies at the end of the road, wide and still, stretching out beyond the horizon. The color is strange black, like ink spilling out from the edge of the world. The ash settles on the surface, leaving it calm but uninviting. A few boats, now anchored, bob gently in the water, their sails hanging slack, as if frozen mid-motion. You stand at the edge of the water, your feet just shy of the surf. The air smells of brine, but also something else, something heavy, metallic. Like the world itself is waiting for something to happen. The sea, silent and infinite, stretches before you. It does not call your name, but it does not need to. You feel a kinship with it now. In this moment, you realize that the mountain, the ash, the city, they are all part of this larger rhythm, this endless ebb and flow. Things rise, things fall. The sea, with its quiet strength, simply watches. You breathe deeply. The air fills your lungs, and you exhale slowly. And though you cannot hear it, you feel the heartbeat of the world, calm and slow, and it is enough. The shore stretches out before you, silent except for the soft sighs of the waves, rolling in and retreating with slow rhythmic patience. The boats bob gently, anchored but unmoving, as if the sea itself has forgotten how to carry them. The salt air mixes with the lingering scent of ash, a strange combination that fills your lungs with both comfort and discomfort. You take a step closer to the water, the coolness of it brushing your skin, but you do not approach further. The sea feels distant, now once a place of movement, of travel, of crossing boundaries. Now, it is still, solid, waiting. You run your fingers over the smooth stone of a nearby pier, now half buried in ash. The wood of the boats is warped and cracked, the sails limp, hanging loosely like forgotten flags in the wind. You reach down and touch the edge of a boat's hull. The wood is wet from the mist, but the surface is smooth, marked only by the slow passage of time. Somewhere far off, the calls of gulls rise, but their sound is muffled, fading into the stillness that hangs heavy over the coast. The birds themselves seem unwilling to cross the waters. Perhaps even they know that something has shifted. The world, suspended for just a moment longer, remains silent. There is no rush, no urgency in the air. No one calls for the ships to sail, to move, to break free. The city of Pompeii is behind you, now nearly lost in the growing haze. The people who once crowded these shores have long since gone, leaving behind nothing but empty docks, waiting for a boat that will never arrive. You wonder for a brief moment if anyone else will come, if anyone will look out over this black sea and see what is left behind, what the earth has swallowed. But the thought passes, and you let it. The ships are waiting. They will remain here, like the rest of this forgotten world, still and waiting for a future they will never know. You stand, the waves curling around your feet. You do not feel the need to go anywhere. Not yet, not now. For a moment, it is enough to simply stand, to breathe, to let the sea, the stillness, the ash, just be. The breeze picks up again, this time stronger, swirling ash into the air like a final dance before the night comes fully. It pushes against your back, guiding you slowly along the shore, away from the water and toward the scattered remnants of Pompeii that stretch across the horizon. Now more like whispers than memories. The ruins stand stark against the fading light, their outlines sharper now, etched into the smoky sky. The buildings are half crumbled, some leaning at odd angles, others standing upright, but hollow empty shells that once cradled lives, conversations, laughter, and the endless hum of human existence. But now, they are just monuments to something that is already past. You walk through the ruins, your steps echoing slightly on the stone, the path winding between columns and archways that frame the sky instead of the streets. The wind seems to follow you, pushing the ash along in small gusts, coating everything in the same pale dust. It is both a cleansing and a covering, as though the earth itself is dressing the city in a final, protective shroud. A distant statue catches your eye half buried, the form of a horse frozen in mid-gallop. Its legs are twisted in the ash, as though it had tried to flee but was stopped halfway, trapped in this moment of terror or beauty. Its eyes are vacant, carved stone, but still, they stare ahead, unblinking, staring into the same horizon you've been following. You pause before it, kneeling to touch the marble. It is cool under your fingers, but beneath the stone, there is a warmth still, lingering, a quiet echo of the life that was once here. You wonder if anyone else will ever pass through this space. You wonder if the wind will keep sweeping the ashes across this place for centuries to come, erasing everything until only stone remains. But even stone, eventually, is worn down. Even memories fade. You stand again, and the wind picks up, as if urging you onward, urging you to continue your walk. You take one more step, then another. Each footfall, quieter than the last, and with each step, the city behind you becomes less solid, less real, until it is nothing but a whisper in the wind. The wind stirs the ash once more, carrying it across the cracked stones, in slow, graceful sweeps. It feels as though the city itself is breathing beneath your feet, exhaling its memories into the air, where they swirl and dissipate like smoke. You walk onward, away from the remnants of the city, toward the open land that stretches beyond the hills. The road ahead is clearer now, less choked with the heavy remnants of the past. The mountain, though still looming, seems further away, and for the first time today, the sky feels open, no longer pressed down by ash and smoke, but stretched across the horizon like a canvas waiting to be painted anew. Still, the quiet lingers. Even the wind seems to hush as it passes you, leaving a soft silence that cradles everything around you. The land here feels untouched, though you know it has not been. The ash is there, beneath your feet, in every crack of stone, in every abandoned corner. Time has settled into it like water into earth, soaking in, waiting as you continue walking. You begin to notice something else. The world around you is changing, not violently, but subtly, in the way the light shifts when the sun starts to dip below the horizon. There is no sharp division between day and night, between earth and sky. It all blurs together in a quiet fade. Like the slow closing of a book, the silence deepens. You think of the people who once lived here, their laughter, their arguments, their songs, their stories. You think of the faces, the hands that once touched the walls you passed, the smells, the sounds, the life that thrummed through the streets, vibrant and alive, just like any other day. But now, only the ruins remain, only the ash dot, and yet, it is not sad, not really, it's just time, slipping quietly away like water through your fingers. You slow your pace, letting the weight of it settle in your chest. The stillness, the quiet, you feel no need to rush, no need to chase after something that no longer exists. You look back once more, but the city is distant now, only a hazy silhouette on the horizon, a place you used to know, and ahead, the road continues, soft and unbroken. You take another step, and then another. The road curves gently, leading you toward the edge of a low cliff. Below, the sea stretches endlessly, the dark water almost glowing in the dimming light. The surface ripples gently, breaking into tiny waves that shush softly as they touch the shore. It is a quiet kind of movement, like the world itself is sighing. You stand at the edge of the cliff for a while, watching the rhythm of the water. The ash has settled here, too, carried by the wind and the waves. The shore is a strange sight to see. Once a place of energy and motion, now feels like an old mirror, its surface still and unbroken. The ash settles on it like snow, adding to the surreal quality of everything around you. You wonder if the ocean feels as heavy as the land does now, if it, too, carries the weight of the mountain, of the eruption, of the cities it has watched rise and fall. The waves lap against the shore in a way that feels almost gentle, though the volcano still looms in the distance. The distance between the past and the present has shrunk. The land that you have just walked is both real and ghosted, a world caught between moments. The wind picks up once more, pulling at your hair and the hem of your cloak. It smells of salt and earth, of 1,000 stories whispered across oceans. You wonder if the wind carries the scent of the mountain to distant shores. 2 lands far away, where people still live unaware of what has happened here. A small boat sits just offshore, anchored by an old, weathered rope. It sways slightly, its sails slack. The ash has already started to coat the wood, layering over the once bright paint like a blanket, softening it into a forgotten memory. You don't know who the boat belongs to. You don't know if it has ever sailed. But it doesn't matter. The sea stretches out beyond you, dark and endless. You think of the people who must have traveled across it generations ago, stepping out into the unknown with nothing but their hopes and their dreams. And now, the same sea lies still, waiting, silent. A single gull cries out, its voice faint, against the quiet, and you listen to it until it fades away. You take a deep breath, the salt air filling your lungs, and let the quiet wash over you once again. The light has softened now, a deep, almost violet hue that wraps itself around the landscape like a gentle blanket. The sea before you is no longer dark now. It's a quiet mix of silver and blue, like a forgotten painting in fading colors. The wind has died down, and everything feels suspended, as if time itself has paused to listen. You turn away from the shore, your feet carrying you through the thick ash, now ankle-deep, soft beneath your steps. The ground has become sponge-like, muffling everything: footsteps, the rustle of your cloak, the distant hum of the wind. The world feels muted, as though it's trying to hold its breath, waiting for the next sound to fill the air. There are no birds flying now, no calls or chatter. The silence is absolute. You pause for a moment, just to feel it. The stillness, it surrounds you, wrapping its arms around the earth, the mountains, the sea, the very air. You cannot tell if the world is holding its breath, or if you are the only one left breathing. The space between your thoughts feels endless, stretching into the distance, where even the stars have not dared to appear. The land feels so old, so heavy with time. You wonder how long it has been here, how long it has been waiting for something to break its quiet, for someone to walk across its surface, to leave a mark, a footprint that will soon be swept away. The quiet stretches into the fabric of your mind, and for the first time today, you wonder if you are walking through a memory. If this is not the land you've known, but a dream, the kind that fades when you wake, the kind that holds on to you, gently, but never fully. You move forward, again, each step feeling lighter, slower. You don't look back. The silence follows you, like an echo, like a promise you cannot understand, but feel in every corner of your soul. The ash falls again, softly. The sky has not darkened, but it is not light anymore, either. And the world waits, the ground beneath. You remain soft, each step sinking deeper into the ash, but your feet are now numb to its weight. Your thoughts float gently, untethered, as you continue along the winding road. The shapes of the world stretching and shifting with each breath. The mountain is still ahead of you, but it feels like it is in another world now, distant, no longer looming, its shape softened by the haze that covers it. The smoke has tapered off, and the mountain's fiery breath is just a memory in the back of your mind. What once seemed so immense, so threatening, is now just part of the horizons. And still, you think of it, how everything in Pompeii was once measured by its presence. The market, the homes, the walls, the people, all of them were shaped by the mountain, even if they didn't know it. And now, as you walk further from the city, further from its echoes, you realize something strange. It is not gone, not really. It is just quieter, waiting, remembering. You feel it again, deep in your chest, a hum, soft but persistent. It is the heartbeat of the earth, the pulse of all things. It is not loud, not aggressive, just steady, like the steady hum of a song waiting to be sung. And you realize that, like everything else, you have always been moving toward this moment. The ash continues to fall, but it no longer feels like destruction. Instead, it feels like gathering a collection of thoughts, of time, of pieces that belong to a story that has always existed and always will. You pause, letting the weight of this truth settle over you. The mountain may not speak, but it watches, it remembers, it listens. You continue walking, but this time you do not feel the need to rush. You are no longer moving away. You are simply walking, no longer seeking anything, just being part of the slow, steady rhythm of the land that breathes beneath your feet. And for a moment, everything feels still, not in silence, but in harmony. The ash swirls gently around you. The mountain hums softly in the distance, and you keep walking. The road narrows again, winding gently through scattered stones and broken walls. The sounds of the world outside have all but disappeared. Now the wind is still, the sky thick and heavy with quiet, and the earth beneath your feet seems to pulse in a rhythm that feels more like a heartbeat than the footsteps of a traveler. You feel the shift, like stepping between worlds, though you cannot quite name the moment. The path feels different now, as if the air itself has changed, and with it, your understanding of time. You look to the side, where the ruins of Pompeii have become distant, softened by ash and distance. The familiar has slipped away, like a shadow at dusk, leaving only the quiet weight of memory. The city is behind you now, but you do not feel the urge to look back. It has settled into its place, like something folded neatly in a drawer, its edges softened by the passage of time. Ahead of you, the road stretches, no longer bound by the city's limits. It seems to go on without end, like a long sigh released into the horizon. And the more you walk, the more you feel like part of this journey, this quiet, unhurried passage through both land and time. There is no urgency, no final destination, just the steady movement forward, step by step. The land around you is empty, now unbroken, vast. There are no other travelers here, no voices calling out, no footsteps to follow. The only sound is the soft crunch of ash beneath your sandals, the wind that carries the faintest scent of earth and salt, and the occasional distant call of a bird that has long outlasted its perch. A figure passes in the distance, moving along a path that leads toward a narrow opening between two hills. The silhouette is blurred by the ash, and they do not look back. You follow their path in your mind, as though somehow it's been written for you to follow. You do not question why. You do not need to. There is no map, no destination. You feel the land's pull beneath you, the steady hum of the earth, quiet, sure, eternal. And for the first time today, you realize something. This path is endless. Not because it stretches on, but because it leads to something you've always known. And as the sun slips below the horizon, you walk in step with the land, with the city, with the mountain, with the silence, and you are home. The sky grows darker now, no longer the soft twilight of the early evening, but a deep, velvety night. The stars begin to emerge, hesitant at first, as if unsure whether they should shine tonight. You stop walking for a moment and gaze upward, feeling the coolness of the night air settle over your skin like a second cloak. The world around you is still, quiet, held in a deep, waiting breath. And then, you hear it, a sound, faint at first, like the soft whisper of wind through the trees. But there are no trees here. It is something else, something deeper. It begins as a low hum, like the distant sound of the earth itself turning. The mountain, perhaps, still alive, still listening, still breathing. The sky pulses with a silent energy that vibrates in your chest, slow but steady, like the ticking of a clock long forgotten. The air is charged. You stand still, listening, feeling it in your bones. The world is holding its breath, as though waiting for something to break the silence. Something that has been building all this time, not in the mountain, but in the very land beneath you. A shift, subtle but undeniable. The earth feels alive in a way you haven't felt before. The ground beneath your feet hums, as if it remembers its past, its stories, the lives that once walked this same path. You take another step, then another, and yet you do not feel urgency. You feel awareness, as though every sound, every shift in the air is pointing you forward. And then, as if answering the mountain's call, the wind rises. It stirs the ash, lifting it into the air like a shroud. It rushes through the stone ruins, scattering the dust into the night. It moves through you as well, and you take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the cool, crisp air that carries a taste of salt, of earth, and of something ancient, something forgotten. You keep walking, but now, you understand. The path is not just a road. It is a journey through something far greater than time or place. It is a journey through memory, through truths, through the silent stories that lie beneath the surface of the earth. And as the night deepens, you know that the storm is not the one in the sky. It is the one you carry within, the one you are slowly coming to understand. The path winds upward again, leading you toward the far hills that edge the horizon. The wind is stronger now, pushing at your back, urging you forward with the soft insistence of something that knows you must keep moving. The air feels sharper, cooler, and the night deepens around you like a blanket being pulled tightly over the earth. You pause at the top of the rise, gazing back toward the city of Pompeii, now just a distant memory on the landscape. The ash has settled in thick layers, blanketing it from view, but you can still sense it beneath the surface, like the trace of a song you once knew. It's there, just out of reach. Ahead, the mountain stands tall, its peak barely visible beneath the shifting veil of smoke and shadow. It is quieter now, but its presence is more profound, more commanding. The gentle tremor you felt earlier has ceased, but the hum beneath the earth persists. A steady pulse that you can feel deep within your chest. The mountain is speaking, not in words, but in the vibrations of the earth, in the steady hum of time slipping away. Its voice is ancient, like the murmur of the earth itself, a reminder of what has come before and what will come after. The wind carries its whispers to you, swirling around you, wrapping you in the rhythm of something far older than the city, older than the roads you've walked. You stand still for a moment, listening. The mountain's voice is not one of anger or destruction. It is the voice of change, of transformation. The earth, in its infinite patience, has seen many rises and falls. It has felt the warmth of creation and the cold of extinction. It understands that nothing lasts forever, not even the city you've just left behind. A soft sigh escapes your lips, and for a moment, you feel connected to something far greater than yourself. The mountain, the sky, the wind, they are all part of this eternal cycle, a rhythm you are now part of. 2. You breathe deeply, and as you do, you realize that you are no longer just passing through. You are becoming part of the land itself. The mountain's voice fades, but the hum remains, and with it, you keep walking forward, toward the unknown, toward the next step in this quiet journey. The earth beneath your feet shifts again, subtly, but the sensation is undeniable. The mountain, still lingering behind you, has not gone silent. It hums with an energy that rises and falls in waves, like the slow pulse of the planet itself. An ancient rhythm you can feel all around you. The road ahead seems endless now, stretching out beneath a sky that is darkened into shades of purple and indigo. The wind carries a chill that seeps deep into your bones, but it is not unpleasant. It is the kind of cold that makes you feel alive, makes you aware of every breath you take, every step you make. You walk slower now, but not out of weariness. There is something about the air, something in the very quality of the silence, that makes you want to stay in this moment longer, to savor the time between each footfall. And then you notice it. The sky is changing, not in the way you might expect, not in the dramatic burst of light or color, but in a more subtle way. It deepens, as though it is turning to something more solid, more permanent. It feels like the sky itself is turning to stone, its once soft hues becoming stony and unyielding. The stars that were scattered across the vast canvas begin to fade, their light becoming distant, as though they are retreating into the fabric of the universe. You feel it. Something about the sky now holds weight, something heavy, ancient, like the final pages of a book closing softly after a long read. The sky is no longer a canvas, but a reminder of the passage of time, a reminder of what has already been and what is yet to come. You stand at the crest of a small rise, gazing out at the landscape below. The world is quiet now, not in the sense of absence, but in the sense of peace. The mountain looms in the distance, still veiled in smoke, but its presence is no longer menacing. It is a sentinel, watching over the land, holding the memories of those who once lived here. You inhale deeply, the cool air filling your lungs. For the first time today, you feel at peace with the stillness, with the land, with the sky that has turned to stone. And as you continue walking, you know you are no longer simply a traveler. You are a part of this moment, a part of this land. And like everything else here, you, too, will eventually turn to ash. But not yet. Not yet. The road begins to level out, the ash becoming more sparse underfoot as you move further from the ruins. The landscape opens up, revealing rolling hills covered in the same quiet dust. The world feels wider, now no longer confined by the stone and dust of the city, but open, stretching infinitely before you. You pause for a moment to look back. The faint outline of Pompeii, now barely visible in the distance, seems to shimmer in the soft glow of the fading light. It is distant, almost lost, like a half-remembered dream that fades as you wake. You turn your gaze to the horizon, where the land meets the sky in a hazy, indistinct line. The air is still, carrying only the faintest breath of the sea. A reminder that the world outside the mountains still exists, still moves in its own rhythm, untouched by the moment you've left behind. And then, you notice it, in the distance. A small glimmer, just a flicker at first, then more distinct, as though a single ember has been lit in the vast darkness. It shines, soft but persistent, like a promise carried on the wind. You squint, unsure if it's real, or just a trick of the fading light. You take a few steps forward, drawn to it, and soon realize it's not just a glimmer. It's a fire, small and steady, nestled against the base of a nearby hill. Its warmth is faint but unmistakable, even from this distance. For a moment, you stand still, watching it, feeling its quiet presence. It is a reminder of everything that once burned brightly here, of life, of stories, of things lost and left behind. But it is not a blaze. It is not destruction. It is a gentle fire, like a single ember that refuses to go out. No matter how many winds blow against it, you walk toward it. Each step feels a little lighter now, as though the earth beneath you is no longer a burden but a companion, one that holds you gently as you move forward, toward something still flickering in the dark. The world has changed, yes, but even in the darkest night, there are still embers of light. You breathe in, the cool air filling your lungs, and keep walking toward the flame that flickers just beyond the hill. As you draw closer to the small fire, its glow grows stronger, more defined against the backdrop of the dimming sky. The crackling sound of the flames reaches you, soft but persistent, the only sound in a world that has grown silent. The warmth is subtle, but it presses gently against the coolness of the evening air, offering a kind of comfort that feels almost unexpected. You arrive at the fire's edge, where a small camp has been set up, just a few scattered stones circling the flame, an old weathered blanket draped over a rock, and a small cooking pot sitting in the heat, steam rising from it lazily. No one is here. No one is tending to it, but the fire still burns, steady and quiet. The embers glow softly, as though the earth itself is remembering something. You kneel beside the fire, watching the flames dance in the twilight. They move in, patterns that feel ancient swirling in the air, breaking apart only to return to themselves. The smoke rises into the sky, curling like the thoughts of those who once passed this way. And then you realize this is the last ember. It is the last flicker of warmth in a world that has grown cold. The last sign of life in a place that has almost forgotten what it means to live. The fire here is not for warmth, nor is it a signal for help. It is a quiet, unspoken act of remembrance, away for the land, for the souls who once walked here, to leave behind a trace, a flicker that will not fade. For a long moment, you are still, caught between the fading light of the fire and the encroaching dark of the world around you. The air feels heavy, but not with sadness. It is the weight of memory, the kind of weight that reminds you of everything that has passed, of everything you carry with you, even when you think you are walking alone. The flame crackles again, and you watch it, entranced by its dance, by its quiet defiance. Even in this vast, empty land, even in this stillness, something remembers. You sit back, letting the warmth sink into your bones, breathing in the smell of smoke and ash, of earth and fire, and for the first time, you feel truly at peace with it all. The warmth of the fire laps at your skin like a distant memory, comforting and still. The last embers dance softly in the fire, their glow flickering beneath the darkening sky. The wind is lighter now, as if even the world around you is settling into a quiet rhythm, one that doesn't need to be spoken aloud. You sit in the stillness, your mind gently unwinding, floating along with the quiet hum of the earth beneath you. The fire crackles, the flames licking the air, and you feel them draw you deeper into this place, into the soft lull of time passing in its own quiet way. The landscape around you is darkening now, the stars creeping slowly into the sky, their light faint and distant, like whispers from a time before. The flame sputters and shifts in the night air, casting long, wavering shadows on the ground. For a moment it feels as though the shadows are moving with you, dancing to the rhythm of the flame, stretching across the stones in patterns that feel both new and familiar. The fire seems to remember the night, and for a fleeting moment, you feel the weight of everything this land has carried, from the living to the lost. A distant sound of birds calls out from far above, but it's almost swallowed by the calm. A quiet song rising in the distance, fading just as quickly, and in the stillness that follows, you hear your own breath, steady and sure, in time with the earth. You feel yourself as part of it all. The ground beneath you, the night around you, the stars above you. They all pulse together in this gentle rhythm, and you are no longer just a witness. The fire weakens, the flames dwindling, leaving behind only a glowing pile of embers, warm and golden in the quiet night. You watch them fade, each one falling into the stillness, knowing that they, too, will become part of the earth again. And as they do, you feel the quiet peace settle into your chest, like the earth itself is sighing, content and still. The fire is gone now, just the last flickers of light dancing in the ashes. But you do not feel cold. You do not feel alone. The land is at rest. And so, for a moment, are you? The embers of the fire have all but faded, their last whispers absorbed by the earth beneath you. The air grows cooler now, The kind of cool that makes you feel both alive and connected to the world in a way that is deeply humbling. The night has fully settled in, and the silence around you is no longer unsettling. It is just the quiet of a world that has learned to breathe slowly, patiently. You rise from where you sat, your legs stiff from stillness, but not from weariness. You feel the pull of the earth beneath your feet, the soft crunch of ash giving way to the steady warmth of the stones underfoot. You look up, and the sky above you is full of stars distant, like lanterns set adrift on the vast expanse of night. As you walk, the soft glow of the stars is your only companion, and the road ahead is clear. It stretches forward like a memory, fading in and out of view as you move. Like the edge of a dream you are slowly walking away from. There is no more sound, not even the wind. The night is still, as if the world itself has been paused. In the distance, the sea calls out to you, its presence a soft, undisturbed pulse just beyond the horizon. The salt air has grown stronger as you walk, the faint scent rising in the cool night air. The sea does not change, it is eternal in its rhythm, rolling in waves that never stop. Even when no one is there to witness it, the mountains loom behind you now, their shape softened by the dark, their smoke long gone, leaving only their memory hanging in the air like a quiet shadow. You are far from Pompeii now, far from its ruins and ashes. The road ahead feels long, but not endless. It feels like a path already carved, already known, waiting for you to follow. You take another step, the ground beneath you, solid and real, and with each movement, you feel the connection between the land and the sky, between you and the night, deepening. A soft thought flits across your mind, a wish. Perhaps a wish for the world to remember the lives, the laughter, the quiet moments before the storm. And just like that, you are part of it all. A part of the world that stretches beyond time, a part of everything. The road ahead is quiet now, the landscape stretching out in a soft, muted gray beneath the weight of the night. The stars have begun to fade, their light dimming in the early moments before dawn. The air is cooler here, but still comforting, as though the earth is slowly waking from its own slumber. The path beneath your feet seems to grow lighter with each step, the ash softening, becoming more fluid as you move. You notice that the landscape is slowly changing. The soft, crumbled ruins of Pompeii, the path you once walked so carefully, have given way to open spaces, rolling hills, low grass, and the faint hum of the earth beneath you. You pause for a moment, looking out at the horizon, where the first light of dawn begins to break through the dark expanse of sky. It's not yet the sharp light of the sun, but something gentler, something that promises a new beginning without rushing. It spreads across the land, like the quiet spread of warmth, creeping slowly toward the earth, touching everything softly as it rises. The mountain is distant now, hidden behind the curve of the land. The ash that once fell like snow has almost settled, leaving the earth undisturbed, ready for the next chapter. The world feels calm. It feels whole. You step forward again, moving without urgency, as if the rhythm of your steps matches the slow, steady pace of the coming dawn. The path ahead is clear now, the road beneath your feet steady and strong. It feels less like a journey toward a destination, and more like a movement with the land, one step forward, then another, in time with the earth, in time with the sky. The wind picks up again, this time carrying the scent of something fresh, earth, grass, sea. You breathe it in deeply, letting it fill your lungs with life, with renewal. The world feels like it is waiting for you to notice its quiet beauty, its gentle pulse, and you wonder for a moment if you have ever truly understood it before. As the first light of day touches the edge of the earth, you feel it, the warmth of new beginnings. The horizon stretches wide before you, waiting. The land beneath your feet hums softly, a gentle reminder that time continues, slowly, steadily, and you walk. The light of dawn grows steadily, painting the horizon with soft strokes of amber and rose. The air is cooler now, a faint breeze lifting the edges of your cloak as you walk. The world feels new in this quiet light, like the first moments of a new day before any words are spoken, before anything can disturb the peace that has settled over the land. You notice the subtle changes, the way the grass bends with the wind, how the dew glistens on each blade, catching the light like tiny stars. The ash from the city is now a distant memory, scattered along the edges of the path. Here, it feels like you are walking through a world untouched, as if time itself has paused to let the earth breathe and heal. The road ahead is empty, but not lonely. It stretches out, gentle and uninterrupted, winding through the hills, each curve leading you towards something unknown, but not frightening. The journey ahead feels familiar, even though you've never walked it before. It is a quiet promise the road, like the world, goes on. You stop for a moment, closing your eyes, letting the cool morning air fill your lungs. You hear nothing but the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of birds, their songs barely breaking the silence, just enough to remind you that life continues, even when it feels still. Even when it feels like everything is slipping away, there are small moments of beauty, of connection, waiting to be noticed. The wind shifts, brushing through the trees nearby. It carries with it the scent of earth, of salt, and of something new, something yet to be written. You wonder, briefly, if the world has always been this way. We are all just passing through it, leaving small marks along the way, and then moving on. But those marks, those small moments, are what make the world whole. You take another step, and then another, moving forward, without hurry. The road is still before you, and the world is still around you. The sun rises higher now, its light spilling across the land, and you feel it. The world is still waking, and so are you. The warmth of the sun begins to settle on your skin, gentle, at first, as though the earth itself is stretching slowly, waking from its long, quiet slumber. The road beneath you seems to open up, becoming wider and smoother, as if it, too, is easing into the day. The landscape around you continues to stretch in every direction, undisturbed, unhurried, as if it has all the time in the world. You notice the small details, now the delicate flutter of leaves in the trees, the way the wind stirs the grass, the soft chirping of crickets hiding somewhere in the distance. The world feels alive, yet the pace is so slow, so patient, that it's almost as if time itself is moving gently forward, allowing everything to breathe and grow. You walk with no destination in mind, but you do not feel lost. The path seems to lead you without words, without urgency, towards something undefined, something unspoken, and yet, in this moment, it feels as though you have arrived exactly where you need to be. The land stretches out ahead, vast and open, but you are no longer in a hurry to cross it. Every step you take feels deliberate, like each one carries with it the weight of years, of stories long forgotten, of moments you've left behind. The sun has fully risen now, casting golden light across the hills and valleys. The warmth is comforting, like a blanket spread across the earth, offering a sense of protection, of rest. And though the world around you is expansive, vast beyond measure, it feels contained in this moment, like a small world within a world. The road begins to rise gently once more, but you are not concerned with what lies ahead. You have learned that some journeys do not need to be rushed. The land, the sun, the wind, they are all in their own time. They do not need to go anywhere. They are simply being. And as you move forward, you feel a deep, quiet connection to it all. The earth beneath you, the sky above you, and the slow, steady rhythm of the world. Just waking, the landscape continues to stretch before you, each step taking you deeper into the embrace of the earth, into the heart of the still, quiet world. The land is open now, endless, with rolling hills that rise and fall like the soft undulations of breath. The air carries a sweetness, a hint of wildflowers mixed with the faint temps of the sea in the distance. It is the kind of scent that feels like home, even if you've never been here before. As you walk, the quiet begins to settle within you, filling every corner of your mind. There is no rush. There is no need to hurry. The moment is enough, just as it is. You realize, with a soft sigh, that you have reached a place where the world and the self have merged, where every step you take is a gentle reminder that you are part of this land, part of the rhythm of the earth, part of the memory of time. You pause at the crest of a hill, looking back for the first time since you started this journey. The path behind you has blurred, softened by the distance, by the layers of time and ash that have passed through it. Pompeii is far now, almost imperceptible. In the distance, swallowed by the land that has already begun to heal. The remnants of the city, the stories of the people who once lived there, have all become one with the earth beneath your feet. It is a memory, a gentle memory, tucked away in the folds of time, and yet it is not lost. It remains, quietly, in the wind that blows through the trees, in the rhythm of the waves that crash softly against the shore, in the stillness of the earth that has learned to rest. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face, the coolness of the breeze on your skin, and in that moment, you feel the past and the present weave together. You are part of this world, and it is part of you. You breathe deeply, inhaling the quiet peace of this place, and for the first time, you realize you are no longer just walking through the world. You are with it. A quiet memory that will linger long after the journey ends. The road ahead rises gently, the path curving through a small grove of trees, ancient oaks, their trunks wide and knotted with time. The branches stretch overhead, casting dappled shadows across the earth, creating a pattern of light and dark that feels like a quiet dance. You step into the shade, the coolness of it welcome against the warmth of the sun. The air feels thick here, rich with the scent of earth, of life, of roots. You stop for a moment, closing your eyes, letting the stillness of the grove wash over you. The quiet is different now, empty, not silent, but full of everything that has come before, full of life that has quietly unfolded beneath the surface. You listen closely. The leaves rustle softly in the breeze, their movement almost imperceptible. The birds have become more active now, their songs low and steady, as if they, too, are part of the land's deep breathing. The world here feels so full, so alive, and yet so peaceful. It is as though time has folded in on itself, slowing to match the rhythm of the trees, the rhythm of the earth. You take a slow breath, letting the air fill your lungs, feeling the pulse of the land beneath your feet. The earth here is different, more solid, more alive. It carries the memories of all those who have passed, all those who once walked these paths, and yet it remains unchanged in its essence. For a moment, it feels as though you are rooted, like the trees that surround you, a part of this land that has endured the weight of time. There is no fear here, no uncertainty. There is only the quiet knowing that you are part of something that has always been, and always will be, as steady as the mountains, as timeless as the stars. You open your eyes and continue walking, feeling the earth beneath your feet, grounding you in the present, but also carrying with you the weight of everything that has come before. Each step is slow, measured, as if in sync with the pulse of the land. The trees part ahead, and the road stretches onward. You do not know where it will lead, but it doesn't matter. The journey itself is enough. The path ahead begins to widen, leading you through the last of the trees, their branches, bowing low under the weight of time, casting shadows that stretch long across the land. The road is smoother here, the earth beneath your feet now firm and solid, the texture of the ground shifting from the soft ash to the more grounded, stable soil. The air is cooler now, carrying with it the faintest hum, not a sound, but a vibration. It's a quiet pulse that seems to rise from the very earth beneath you, as if the land itself is speaking, reminding you of its ancient rhythm. You feel it in your chest, in your heart, a steady beat that syncs with your own breath. You pause, letting the silence wash over you. You hear the wind moving through the tall grasses nearby, a soft rustling that feels like a sigh, like the earth exhaling after a long day. The distant sound of water flowing reaches your ears, a soft, murmuring stream that winds its way through the land, carving new paths with every passing moment. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the clean, cool air. It feels refreshing, a contrast to the warmth of the day, and you feel yourself settle further into the moment, as though the land is embracing you, holding you close. Everything feels balanced here. The path beneath your feet, the sky above, the sound of water, the gentle pull of the wind, it all moves together in a quiet harmony, a reminder that everything, no matter how small or fleeting, is part of something larger. For the first time, in what feels like a long time, you realize that you are no longer just walking. You are moving with the rhythm of the land, with the pulse of the earth, in sync with something that has always been and always will be. The weight of time, of memory, seems to lift, leaving only the quiet of the present moment. You take another step, and then another, each one slower than the last. The journey has become less about distance and more about the feeling of being here, in this moment, with the land, the wind, the water, the earth, and for a moment, you are not traveling anywhere at all. You are simply being. The road curves gently, again, leading you through a landscape that feels softer with each passing step. The sun is low now, casting long golden light across the hills in front of you. The shadows stretch lazily, creating patterns across the land that seem almost deliberate, as if the earth itself is arranging them to guide your path. You feel lighter now, not just from the warmth of the sun, but from the quiet rhythm that has settled into your chest. It is as though the land is speaking to you, not in words, but in the subtle, unspoken language of nature, the soft rustle of the wind, the distant song of the birds, the quiet hum of the earth beneath your feet. It is a language that doesn't need to be understood, only felt. The road ahead begins to narrow again, leading toward a small hill where the land opens up into a vast, wide space. The view before you is breathtaking, an expanse of green fields, stretching to the horizon, where the sky meets the land in a soft, seamless curve. The world feels infinite here, yet grounded, as if you have reached the place where everything begins and ends. You pause at the top of the hill, looking out at the endless sea of green and gold that unfolds beneath you. The view feels like a dream, a memory of a place you once knew, and yet it is here, before you, real and present. The soft hum of the earth still resonates beneath you, a steady, gentle pulse that seems to echo through the land. You stand still, allowing the breeze to brush your face, the warmth of the sun to fill your lungs with its soft glow. It is a quiet kind of peace that fills the air, a peace that comes from being in sync with the world around you, from feeling your place in it, without the need to hurry or race against time. The land, the sky, the wind, they all seem to be singing, though the song is silent. It is a song of endurance, of patience, of a world that continues on, regardless of what comes. The quiet hum beneath your feet is the song of life itself, a song that has no end. And in this moment, you realize that you are part of it. You are part of the land, the sky, the earth beneath your feet. You are part of something eternal, something quietly beautiful. You continue down the narrow path, the landscape unfolding before you, with each step wide and welcoming. The hills roll on, soft and undisturbed, as if the land itself is lying in the gentle embrace of the morning. The air is cooler now, as the night surrenders to the first light of day. The horizon is painted in soft hues of pink and lavender, the faintest traces of the sun beginning to peek through the veil of night. The quiet around you is unlike any silence you've known before. It is not empty or emptying. It is full, alive, with the sound of the earth breathing, the leaves rustling in the trees, the soft murmur of a distant brook. Everything seems to hum, not in a rush, but in a slow, rhythmic pulse, a song that has been playing for as long as the world has existed. You pause once more, standing at the crest of a hill, looking out over the land. The world feels both infinite and close, as though you are at the center of it all, and yet, you are only a part of the larger, greater whole. You can feel the land beneath you, solid and steadfast, holding you, carrying you forward. And in this moment, you understand. The mountain, the ash, the ruins of Pompeii, they were not just part of the journey, they were lessons. Reminders that nothing lasts forever, but everything leaves an imprint. That the cycle of life and death is natural, inevitable, and yet beautiful. That every passing moment, every step, is part of a larger rhythm that stretches beyond the limits of time. You breathe in deeply, filling your lungs with the fresh, cool air. You feel the weight of the world lift off your shoulders, if only for a moment. There is no rush now, no need to move forward. You are here, in this space, in this time, and it is enough. The world continues to hum, the earth continues to breathe, and you, too, continue. Not as a traveler, but as a part of this great, quiet song. The path begins to narrow again, guiding you between low hills that seem to embrace the earth in a gentle, protective arc. The sunlight grows warmer, casting long shadows that stretch out behind you, as if the land is reaching out to hold you just a little longer. The world feels slower now, as if everything around you is moving in perfect harmony. Each step, each breath, in sync with the heartbeat of the earth. You stop for a moment, your feet resting on the soft grass, the land stretching out before you like an open canvas. The air is alive with the scent of wildflowers, the faintest trace of pine carried by the wind. The horizon is still distant, but it no longer seems far away. The distance between you and the rest of the world feels shorter, like you are standing at the edge of two worlds, the world of the past and the world that lies ahead. The quiet hum of the earth beneath your feet is steady, constant. It pulls you in, grounding you to the land, reminding you of the history that has unfolded here, the stories whispered by the winds, the memories etched into the stone beneath your feet. You realize, in this moment, that you are not just a visitor. You are part of this land, part of this cycle that has always existed, that has always endured. You sit down on a flat rock, beside the path, letting the warmth of the sun wash over you. The land stretches out in every direction, the sky above endless, like an invitation to breathe, to exist in this moment without fear or hesitation. You close your eyes for a moment, just to feel the rhythm of the earth beneath you, to feel the connection between you and the land that surrounds you. In the distance, a bird flaps its wings, its cry echoing softly through the air. It is the first sound to break the silence, and for a moment, it feels like the world is awakening, not in a rush, but in its own time, as it has always done. The quiet between the worlds is not an absence. It is a pause, a breath, a stillness, before the next chapter unfolds. And you, in this moment, are the bridge between the past and the future, between all that was and all that will be. The wind shifts once more, rustling the grass and the trees, carrying with it the faintest whispers from the past. It moves through the land like a gentle hand, guiding you forward, not with urgency, but with a quiet invitation to continue. You stand slowly, the earth beneath your feet solid and grounding, yet somehow lighter now, as if the weight of time has slipped away with the cool breeze. The path ahead stretches out before you, still winding through the hills, but now it feels less like a road and more like a continuation of the land, of the stories that have always been here, and of the stories yet to be written. The trees along the path lean in, their branches forming a soft canopy, a natural archway leading you onward. The light filters through the leaves and soft patches, dappling the earth in pools of gold and shadow. You walk with ease, not needing to rush, not needing to seek anything. You are simply moving, moving through this moment, through the air, through the land. The quiet hum of the earth, the pulse beneath your feet, is constant, and it carries with it the knowledge of all that has come before. The wind whispers, but its words are not clear. They are not meant to be understood, only felt. The world ahead remains unchanged, vast, eternal, and still. And yet, in this stillness, you realize that everything is in motion. The air moves, the grass sways, and the birds continue their flight, circling the sky above. Even the land beneath you is not still. It shifts, it breathes, it remembers. You pause once more, closing your eyes for a moment to take it all in, the soft warmth of the sun on your face, the cool breeze on your skin, the faint scent of pine and earth mingling in the air. The world feels alive, yet it feels peaceful, like a dream that exists between wakefulness and sleep. The whispers of the land call to you, not with words, but with the quiet promise that all things are interconnected, that everything, from the smallest grain of sand to the tallest tree, is part of this infinite cycle. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the air that carries the land's stories, and you continue walking, knowing that, in this quiet moment, you are exactly where you need to be. The light has softened now, casting long, gentle shadows across the path ahead. You walk slowly, your feet light on the earth, as if the very ground beneath you is supporting you, guiding you forward. The wind whispers again, now softer, as if the world itself is breathing with you, moving in quiet harmony with your steps. The trees around you grow thicker, their branches intertwined like a natural cathedral, forming an archway above. Sunlight filters through the leaves, dappling the path with soft patterns, like fingers tracing the contours of the land. The air smells of damp earth and pine, cool and fresh, the scent carrying you deeper into the embrace of the forest. You pause beneath the trees for a moment, taking in the quiet beauty of the space around you. The world feels alive here, but not in the rush of the cities you left behind. No, here the life is patient, quiet, unfolding slowly, like the petals of a flower opening to the sun. Each leaf, each branch, seems to hold a stories of growth, of change, of time. You reach out to touch the trunk of a tree, feeling the roughness of the bark beneath your fingers. The tree stands tall, rooted in the earth, its presence solid, unshakable. It has weathered seasons, storms, and still it stands. You can feel the strength in it, the quiet resilience that comes with time. It is not hurried, it does not race toward the future. It simply grows, quietly, steadily, grounded in the present. The wind picks up again, and the leaves above rustle softly, like the world is speaking a language you can almost understand. It is not loud, not urgent, but it is their steady hum, a rhythm that pulses through the earth, through the air, through you. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the breeze on your skin, the earth beneath you, the weight of time that surrounds you. You are here, in this moment, where past and future blur, where you are part of something larger, something that has been and will be, but is still alive now. You breathe deeply, you open your eyes, and you continue forward, one step at a time, into the quiet. The road stretches out ahead of you, winding gently through the hills and fields, now bathed in the soft light of the setting sun. The land feels vast now, expansive, the edges of the world, far away, but not distant in any way that feels cold or unreachable. No, the horizon feels like an invitation, an open path, drawn in the sky, waiting for you to step into it. You walk, at your own pace, no longer counting the distance, but feeling the rhythm of each step, the pulse of your feet against the earth. The world has become quieter now, not in absence, but in the soft presence of everything. The wind stirs gently, and the grasses sway in the fading light, their tips touching like old friends sharing a quiet secret. The air carries with it a feeling of completion, like the world is gently coming to rest. There is no rush now, no urgency to reach the next hill, or cross the next boundary. The path beneath you is just that, a path, not an end, not a goal. Just a journey that leads you, not toward a destination, but toward understanding. Understanding of the land, of the sky, of the air that surrounds you and fills your lungs. Understanding that the world, in its quiet stillness, is enough. The light of the sun dims slowly, casting a warm glow on the land around you. The world feels like it's holding its breath for a moment, waiting for the night to arrive. But even as the light fades, you realize something. The day has not ended. It has simply changed, like the soft shift between waking and dreaming. The world will rest now, yes, but it will rest together, in the quiet rhythm that has always been here. You take a deep breath, your chest rising and falling slowly, feeling the air fill your lungs like a soft embrace. And for the first time in a long while, you feel truly present. There is nothing else to chase. There is nothing else to worry about. There is only this moment, only the path that has led you here, and only the road that stretches out before you. The path will fade into the horizon, yes, but not for you. You are part of it, and it is part of you. The world around you is softening now, the light of the sun slipping away entirely, leaving only the lingering warmth of the day. The sky is deepening into shades of indigo and violet, the stars beginning to peek through, though their light is faint. The moon, a quiet sentinel, rises slowly above the horizon, casting its silver glow across the land. The path beneath your feet has become more defined in the twilight, the stones visible now only by the soft light that spills from the sky. The land feels like it is slowing down, the pace of the earth matching the beat of your heart. A quiet rhythm that has been with you all along, but now you can truly feel it. Each step is no longer just a step, but a movement in time, part of the world's slow unfolding. You pause for a moment, standing at the crest of a hill, looking out at the vast, quiet expanse before you. The land stretches on, but it feels contained now, not endless, but complete. You breathe in deeply, feeling the cool air fill your lungs, the quiet settling within you like a soft echo. The road that brought you here is no longer something you need to follow. You are part of it now, woven into the fabric of this place. This time, this moment, there is no more urgency, no more rush. The mountain that once loomed so large in your thoughts is now just a distant shape, its presence still there but no longer overwhelming. The city that once held so much noise, so many lives, is behind you, but it is not forgotten. It remains in the quiet of the earth, in the soft rhythm that carries through the land. In the warmth of the light fading behind you, you take one final breath, deep and slow, and as you exhale, you realize that there is nothing left to seek. There is no destination, no final end. There is only this quiet, this peace, this moment. You stand still, feeling the land around you, knowing that you have walked through something far greater than a journey. You have walked through a memory, a story, and you carry it with you now, as part of you. The world rests, and you, too, can rest now.